So I guess everything kind of hinged on me dying in the lake. If you come to the lake and 10 minutes later you realize I'm not there, then you're not going to look for me. You're going to look elsewhere, and then it's going to be a real short trip to Georgia.
So, I mean, essentially it was in an effort to create as much of a layer of secrecy as possible. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
sorry. Yeah, I mean, sorry. I'm not. I guess I'm not. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. No. Obviously, the whole idea was to sell the death. If you don't sell the death, you don't.
Right. You wanted to make it as.
I knew at some point. I just didn't know how long it would take. I didn't know if the whole idea to going to Canada to fly. So I couldn't fly out of America.
Good.
Except that I'm almost certain as soon as you run a missing persons thing, I'll pop up, the passport pops up in America. Almost certain it'll happen right away. Canada, I'm like, do you have to ask for that information from Canada? I'm sure you'll get it, but you have to ask, or is it automatic? And that was my question. I don't know the answer. You guys do.
We share it with you, but we're concerned as to how you would use it.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
But so I knew at some point it was probably going to be found. So I guess I was doing every effort to limit how much and when.
Hello all you couch detectives out there, my name is Lee, thank you for being here. We are so close to 300,000 subscribers. I want to thank all of you. You will never hear an AI voice on this channel, and we will always bring you the most accurate information you can find on every case that we cover. Hit that like, leave a comment, share, subscribe, it really helps YouTube figure out who to put these videos in front of. Thank you. Okay, enough rambling, let's get into it. This case brings us to Wisconsin, and it's a strange one. In August of 2024, 44-year-old Ryan Borgwardt set out to pull off one of the wildest missions one can pull off, especially in this digital age where everything is seemingly caught on record. He set out to fake his own death. But why? Why would a seemingly happy father of three leave his wife and children behind for a fresh start? Well, let's talk a little bit about how that day went. It's pretty wild. On August 11, 2024, Ryan ventured out to Green Lake, which is about 50 miles from his home in Watertown, Wisconsin, for a supposed kayaking/fishing trip. He would never return home. But that was never his plan. These were his last text messages to his wife before he went missing. So after Ryan was deemed missing, a search effort for his body lasted for about 50 days, costed roughly $40,000 to the city. Obviously his body was never found. They did find his vehicle with trailer nearby the lake, and his kayak overturned on the water, his life vest, his car keys, his fishing pole, and his tackle box. Inside the tackle box was his wallet with his driver's license. Sheriff's deputies recovered his overturned kayak in an area of the lake where the waters were about 200 feet deep. What these detectives didn't know is that Ryan Borgwardt had intentionally turned his kayak over at Green Lake, and he paddled back to shore in an inflatable raft. He had an electric bike stashed by that he rode nearly 70 miles through the night to Madison, Wisconsin. There he caught a bus out of the United States to the Toronto airport. He made it to Canada. After a bit of trouble at the airport, Ryan Borgwardt made it on his flight to Tbilisi. That's the capital of Georgia. He paid for his flight with gift cards, which apparently was some sort of loophole to leave as little evidence behind of his presence. In Tbilisi, he and his foreign mistress finally met in person. Her name is Katya. Borgwardt and Katya had met in December of 2023 on a dating website, and by February of 2024 their relationship had grown to the point that this plan hatched for them to be together. Now, when detectives discovered that Ryan had reported his passport lost or stolen and ordered a replacement passport around April 30th of 2024, they started to shift gears. When his wife was questioned about whether or not Ryan had lost his passport, she assured them with photo evidence that he had not. It was locked inside of a safe at home along with the rest of the family's passports. This led investigators to believe that he had falsely reported his passport stolen and acquired a second in secrecy to deceive his wife. When they contacted Border Patrol with the new passport information, it did produce a hit that Ryan had indeed crossed the border into Canada with his new passport. This was pretty sufficient evidence that Ryan Borgwardt was not dead and had faked his own death. This was the message to Ryan from the Green Lake authorities on November 8th, 2024.
Ryan, this is Sheriff Mark Biddle of the Green Lake County Sheriff's Office, Green Lake, Wisconsin. Ryan, I hope you're well and you're safe. Why am I doing this? You have a family that is really concerned about where you are. Right now, they think that you have drowned in our lake. I'm going to give you the opportunity to come forward and give them what they need to hear from you. You know, we all make mistakes. We all have problems in our lives. But you have a family that wants to hear from you. At 12:30 today, November 8th, I am going to address your family and tell them the information that we have and that you are not in the lake. Ryan, I beg you, give me a call. Work this out. And you can have the opportunity to talk to all your family and tell them. You got a very nice daughter, and she wants her dad back. Please, Ryan, give me a call. Everything can be worked out. Please give me a call for your family.
That message seemed to work, and on November 11th, 2024, Ryan Borgwardt sent a proof of life back to the authorities.
Good evening, it's Ryan Borgwardt. Today, hello, Matt. Today is November 11th. It's approximately 10 a.m. by you guys. I'm in my apartment. I am safe, secure, no problem. Hope this works.
After this, investigators were in contact with Borgwardt via email, but he was not releasing his location at the time. Eventually, they talked him into coming back to Wisconsin in December of 2024, mainly by convincing him that it was the right thing to do by his family. Ryan had a Telegram conversation with the Green Lake Sheriff's Office regarding his return to the United States, where he showed concern for his future with Katya. Ryan did return to the US, and before he was booked into jail, investigators were able to get some answers as to why he did it in an interview. This is that interview. Stay with us after the interview for the most up-to-date information on this case. Okay, here is the interrogation of Ryan Borgwardt.
Have a seat. Oh, well, if you want to stay, that's fine too.
10 hours on the plane.
Yeah,
That's a lot on the plane. That's a lot on the plane.
Traveling for a while. Well, like I said at the airport, welcome home. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate you coming to the sheriff's office so we can begin this process. Detective Hansen, Jeremiah, obviously we met at the sheriff's office. He's going to go through the Miranda rights form with you. He's going to collect some demographic information from you just to verify name, date of birth, and all those kinds of things. And then he's going to go through some questions related to that. So I'll let him.
So before we start, I'm just going to read your Miranda rights just because you're here. Obviously, we told you already you're not in custody right now, but because you're here and because of the circumstances, we're just going to read it. Make sure that you understand that. So first one, you have the right to remain silent. All right. So, keeping these in mind, do you wish to talk to us right now?
I don't. Are we just talking about federal stuff, or are we talking about Green Lake stuff?
As far as the federal stuff, I don't. That has nothing to do with us.
I'm just asking. That'd be my only question. I guess I feel like I pretty much already told you everything, so I don't really know what else I can tell you that would get me in more trouble or less, I guess. I don't know. So I guess I feel comfortable with me being that smart about it, so that's fine.
It's your decision, and if you want to not answer a question anytime, you don't have to answer it.
Okay.
If you want to stop, you can stop anytime.
I'll just, that's fine.
So, right here, do you understand each of these rights I read to you?
Yes.
Okay. Understanding these rights, do you wish to talk to me now?
Sure, yes.
Yes. Okay. I'll have your initial next to each one of those, and then just go ahead and sign at the bottom.
I lost track of days.
Today is the 10th.
Sorry.
11th.
10th.
10th?
10th.
Okay.
On my phone says the 10th. I hope it's the
I woke
10th.
up with the sunset and I got in Chicago with the sun, with the morning sun.
Yeah, you're like,
I lost. I mean, I gained 10 hours of work.
Yeah.
So you said it's 10, so 12, 10.
12,
12,
10, 24.
24.
Wow.
all right. So I'm just going to verify. First name is R-Y-A-N.
R-Y-A-N.
Middle initial.
A.
And last name.
B-O-R-G-W-A-R-D-T.
And date of birth. How old does that make you?
45 as of September.
What's your current phone number that you're using?
Oh boy. I can look it up. It's over there. It's not going to work here in Georgia. Or sorry, here in America. It's in Georgia.
Georgia. Okay. So you don't have a working phone number here at all? Okay.
No.
Do you have any idea what a good contact number might be?
I'd say my parents, but they screened their calls probably now. Whatever you used to call my mom, call
Okay.
my stepdad maybe.
I have your mom, I know. I shared that.
Well, I guess the reason I say it's because my mom has a tendency of sometimes not to look at her phone. But I guess I would say go with that for right now.
Okay.
That's your best bet. But I usually, when I want to get a hold of my mom, historically I would contact my stepdad because he usually has his phone on him. My mom doesn't.
So her number's right.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't have any.
We can use that for now, I guess. And,
They're
as
far away.
we go through all this, if you have anything that comes up, then we'll give you our contact. You have my email, but
The
we'll give you
email
our-
work whenever I'm near Wi-Fi.
yeah.
Otherwise, I know you're like telegraph, but that is going to be probably the easiest way to communicate with people for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you know? Kind of what you'd be using for an address for right now?
I'd probably just say truthful, and anything that goes home should be fine. I mean, Emily and I are amicable, so. However, if you want to be, I guess, 100% safe, you could use my parents' address, which would be
Okay. All right. So we just want to verify a couple things. What email address is good for you for right now?
the one I've been using. So is it?
Okay. And that's the email address that you've been talking to.
It's
people?
me. Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have access to that email?
Well, you guys did. Otherwise, no, it's just me.
Okay. So nobody else has used that email,
No, it's just me.
and nobody else has a passcode for it. Okay. So as far as the emails that have gone back and forth between you and
That's just me.
that's just been you? Okay. All right. So everything in that email string back and forth is, as far as you're aware, is all that factual, or is there anything that...
I think the only thing I was keeping secret was where it was at. So until I said between me, everything. I was adamant not to lie. I was just not going to say. So I really don't think there's anything in there that was a lie. I think I just didn't say it to me.
Okay. So everything is factual.
It
It's
should
just...
be factual.
Okay. Sounds good. So then your current phone number is not going to work here.
No.
So you said mom...
There isn't even
or-
Wi-Fi calling on that phone.
There's not.
No.
Okay. As far as previous phone numbers, the phone number that you had on with you the day, okay.
I probably could still get access to it with a new phone.
Okay. And then, so you had that, and then you had another Verizon phone with you. Do you still have that one?
No, that was the one that caused me grief. No, that phone I tossed in Tbilisi.
Okay.
Because it was just dead.
Do you know what the phone number on that one was?
I can't get the answer for you. The answer's in the big.
I don't need it right now.
We can move it
But if you really want it, it's right there. I get it to you right now.
I'm pretty sure I have it. I just wanted to make sure I got the right one.
It was the... Oh, in that file.
Okay, so that was the Verizon one that you switched over
that
to.
was my temporary one.
Temporary one?
Over to.
Okay.
But it doesn't work in Canada, so...
Oh, so that's what caused you grief?
No, the phone actually literally physically died.
Oh, I see.
It physically died after I texted Katya from Dutch Mill parking ride that I was getting on the bus.
Oh.
So from that point on, the whole rest of the journey, I did not talk to her once.
Hmm.
And I was hoping that we were both going to meet at the same point in another day and a half.
We'll get to
In
that
a
part.
foreign country. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We'll definitely get to that part. We want to talk about all of it, honestly.
Okay.
But did you have anything else that you wanted to go?
That was all the initial stuff that we were
Okay.
going to get through.
So, first of all, I guess from my point of view, I'm very impressed at your decision to return on your own free will. There was no warrants issued. There was nothing like that occurred. You and I have been able to have a really open conversation, I think, through the course of the last, what has it been now, over about a month, I guess. And I think in some ways you've kind of bared your soul to me in some of that. You know, in some ways you have really given me an understanding of maybe where you're at on certain things. And I think with all that in mind, again, I am very impressed by the fact that you decided to return, and you're hopeful that you can make things better than what they are now. I'm going to avoid the word fix, right? We talked about that before. It's just
fix.
Right. What's done is done, but there is potential for things to be better going forward. So, as we go through this today, what we want to find out, basically, and some things we're probably going to ask you that we may know the answers to. Some things we don't. But the reason we do that is we want to establish your credibility, right? This is being video recorded. This is being audio recorded. And, you know, in the event that this goes to trial or anything like that, we want to establish your credibility. And so we're going to help you do that by asking questions, like I said, that we may or may not know the answer to. So if something seems like, well, Matt, you know that, well, you're right. I may have, number one, forgotten because it's been quite a bit of stuff. But it also may be something that we're just hoping to verify, just to make sure that things are as we believe they are. So with all that being said, I think the place where I would like to start this discussion is August 11th. And
Is it Monday or Sunday?
that'd be Sunday.
Okay.
And maybe you can just start us out, you know, with the morning of August 11th, and in your words, tell us what happened and where it went. And
That week before I was committed to doing it. Everything. I was looking at the weather because I wasn't going to do this in a bad storm. I'm not going to bike in rain or something like that. So I was looking at either Sunday or Monday night as being the time. That bus, I didn't have the plane ticket, so I could buy that at any time. I knew Monday, Tuesday, those are the cheaper plane ticket days. That bus out of Madison, it goes to like the Twin Cities all the way through. It happens like every day at that time. So I just had to try to, everything kind of hinged on me hitting the 10 o'clock bus. So, and then, I'm sorry, but you guys just happened to be the right target for that thing, so it just is what it is. But so maybe Thursday, Friday, somewhere in there, I decided that it looked like Sunday was going to be an okay day to do it. Weather was going to be fine. Ended up being perfect. And then Sunday morning, woke up, just kind of turned off emotion, I guess, and went from there. Did church, came back from church. I was hoping to have communion with my family that day. Unfortunately, I got asked to help that day, so I got pulled out from where I was sitting next to Emily, and I had to go elsewhere, and that kind of sucked because then the ushers help at the end, and then they go down, and the ushers just go together. So that kind of I really wanted to be with my family that day. And then got back home from church, and then I knew that I had to go back to the shop because I had a lot of things I had to get done yet to prepare for tonight or that night. I think I did some final touches on setting the computer up, and then I ended up had to stay at the shop getting some stuff done, and then going back home, and then I think I was maybe home for 1 to 3 hours, maybe somewhere in there. And that's when I got like the last couple things I was going to grab. Loaded up the trailer to get the wood pellets, and then drove to the shop. The shop is where I had the bike for a couple weeks. I had that stored, and then they had a bin of a bunch of things that were ready to go that had been accumulating over the last few weeks. So it wasn't like I carried a duffel bag out of the house one day. I was already over at the shop. So we have cameras at the shop. You probably heard about that already. Maybe you didn't. Yeah, I knew that. So I backed the trailer up really nice and close. Maybe you already saw that. Because I knew Craig would be like, oh, what's going on? So I backed the trailer up nice and close. I got everything that I needed to get in, and then I went for a drive out. First stop was Walmart in Oshkosh. I really wanted a life jacket because I knew my mom would let me to have one. And I felt kind of more camp. I would have felt better if I would have had one that night. Turns out I didn't have one, so there's that. I had the one that was on the kayak, but I didn't have a second one. But I was able to buy a duffel bag that night at Walmart, and I was able to buy maybe some snacks. I bought an EW Oshkosh hat because I was concerned about being super visible in airports. And then I don't know. On the trip, then I went from Walmart up to Adams. I knew Adam wasn't going to be there because he had a faculty party that day, so I wasn't worried about him seeing the bike. I got the pellets loaded as quickly as I can, and then he ended up coming home before I was out of there, which was good and bad. So, the bike was hid. He didn't see it. We said hi. We talked a little bit, and then I got out of there, and then I had a long drive over to Green Lake for his house. I maybe left his house about 8:30. Probably got to Green Lake maybe about 10-ish. I was just turning left from the highway on the southwest corner of the lake onto the county road towards the park, and one of your squads was just passing me. I was like, okay. Because I figured since it was a county park that you guys had some kind of round that you did. Whether it was every hour, every 2 hours, I just assumed there would be something. So I was kind of happy that was just happened, because then maybe I'd be clear for a little while. Parked the trailer, got the kayak out, freaked out because I forgot the paddle. Ended up figuring out a solution. But I think I stashed some bags, and I was, as much as possible, I didn't want to go back to the trailer because I wanted to just avoid it. It also meant I would have had to have a key on me again, and I didn't want to have a key with me. I wanted to leave all the keys in the tackle box. So So I was really trying to make it as easy for everybody as possible. And those stupid van keys are really expensive. So anyways, I had the stuff on the trees line and long grass on the north side of the water, on the north side of the county road that's down there. And had the car parked in the south parking lot. Hopped in the kayak, grabbed my stuff, and started paddling out there. The net sucked, but it wasn't awful. There's a headwind that helped to get me out there quicker. I think you'd asked before, but why didn't I just take the paddle out of the package that I had? Well, if you imagine, I did have one duffel bag with me on the kayak already. So I had a duffel bag, a tool box, a tackle box. I had a lot of things on that kayak. It's not a super big kayak, and the waves were, I don't know, it was just like I was fumbling around a lot that night. I thought the last thing I need now is to actually die. So I just decided to go with what I had. And then I got out there, and I was probably about ready to do it, but then like boat after boat, it seemed kept coming off the water, and I'm like, are you for real? Like, I didn't want to do it when someone was still in the water, so I was trying to wait for someone to not be in the water. And I don't know if they were just fishing late at night, or if they were watching the Northern Lights, or a combination of both, but I ended up staying out there later than I wanted to stay. I knew I had the bike right ahead of me. It was a little difficult finding I didn't have a map with me. I knew in my head about where the deeper part of the water is, so I was trying to target that area for obvious reasons. Let's see. Somewhere in there, I think Emily texted me and said, "Hey, you coming home?" Or "Where are you? It's late," something to that effect. And then I texted back about, I was worried that not having I guess it is what it is. If I'm seeing too much stuff that gets me in trouble and gets me whatever, I don't care anymore. But I was concerned about the paddle, the kayak paddle. Because I didn't have it, I thought right away that you guys would think that that I use another boat to paddle back. There's no kayak paddle, so that didn't make any sense. So I sent a text to Emily saying that that I had forgotten it, which was true, and that I was using the fishing net, which was true. But I guess I was kind of trying to just make it more plausible that I really just had it. But I did just have it, but to me in my brain it didn't sound like it was going to fly. So I did that, and then I said I'd be coming off the water shortly. I don't think... I kind of lost all track of time somewhere in there, because there's 1,000 thoughts flying through your head. You're watching the cool Northern Lights and the waves. I got freaked out because like a flock of geese decided to land like 20 feet from the kayak. And you can't see them, but you hear this big mess of whoop, whoop, whoop. That was exciting. And then at some point I decided to do it. So tossed the phone further to the north from where he was. Inflated the boat. Hopped in the boat, took a while to get adjusted and situated. Flipped over the kayak. I was still getting situated and adjusted. The kayak was out of sight, and then another boat came off the water. So I was freaking out again that that boat was going to see the flipped over kayak, but they never did. So probably somewhere in the 12 to 1 category, maybe, for time. Maybe late 11 o'clock. After that point, I started the roll. The roll was fighting the wind, and the waves were kind of hard. And if I would show you a picture of that raft, you'd laugh. So, I countless times I said, "Why am I doing this?" But I kept going. Had to take a lot of breaks because it was just physically besides mentally exhausting, besides only having cereal for a meal that day and nothing else the whole rest of that day for food or water. I guess I did have water later in the afternoon. But I just kind of kept going and going. Finally got to shore. I have no idea how long it took, but it took forever in my head. I thought I saw some lights on the street, so I thought I had a good idea where I was. Took that first step out of the boat and I was like, yes, a rock, and great. Took a second step out and I went all the way down into the muck, into my waist. And then the next step, all the way down into my waist. And then the next step, all the way down to my waist. And if the first part wasn't tiring, the second part was awful. And then I was carrying the inflatable, which had a duffel bag on, and if you've ever been in that mess over there, but I don't know, 8 to 10 foot cattails and muck. So it's kind of awful. I was kind of sliding the inner tube across that as I was walking through that. Finally got through. And then I was like, well, now I'm all muddy, and I'm just mud from here to there. So I decided to run across the highway quick, hop in the water. I basically took a bathroom here, down, got all the mud off. Then I came back across the highway, and I saw from what I could see in the moonlight, it was just like, I forgot if there was moonlight or not, but to me I could still see pretty clearly that night. I saw all these muddy footprints right across the county road. It's like, that's a problem. So I quickly went over back to the fresh water, and I tried to start throwing water onto the mud footprints, because I'm like, you see the cars here, and the footprints aren't that far away. I thought for sure you're going to see this. I maybe got 2 footprints out, but it was taking forever, and I'm like, this is impossible. I just got to chance it and go with it. So I finally decided to just leave what it was. Got on the bike. I had way too many. I had 3 bags. It's way overweighted for that bike ride. I had never started the bike before, so I didn't really know how it was supposed to work. It's 1 or 2 or something at that time right now. There wasn't a car that had gone by in that county road for quite some time, so it was pretty quiet. Hopped on the bike. Again, I couldn't get it started, didn't figure out the switch. It was dark a little bit, so I couldn't find the power switch. I did end up pedaling the bike to about the first, I think where that bar is over there, in that south corner, bar restaurant. I kind of stayed out of the light a little bit, but I used some of the light to kind of figure out where the power button was, and then I got it all situated, and once I figured out the go button, it was pretty fun. So I started the bike right loose. I zoomed over. I didn't go straight to the highway from the county road. There's that offshoot that takes you down further south. That was one of my fears, was being on the county road and being smacked by a truck that night. So I wanted to limit that as much as possible. Maybe it's County Road B or something, but there's a county road, is it 73?
Yeah.
That's there. It kind of starts to drift towards the southeast. Somewhere in there's a turn that shoots off to the right. It's another.
Yeah, Maple. It's got to be. Yeah, Maple. Little gravel road.
It wasn't gravel. It was paved. It's maybe a couple miles.
I think it's paved.
Oh, a couple of miles.
Oh.
I went a couple miles on 73 before I turned right. Or a mile.
Probably B.
Yeah.
I think it's B.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It's on Z.
So I get
Take a look at the map.
So I get on B. It's pretty quiet on that stretch, and I had did a lot of research on a quiet stretch because that was something I was really afraid of, is being on a bike at night, getting hit by someone, and then actually dying. So I think I went on B, came around a corner, and then I took a stop up there because I was hungry, and I had my backpack was filled full of granola bars because I had 3 days of food in there. That's kind of what my plan was. So between that and water, I took a break, and I don't know why I did, but whenever you look up at the sky in situations like that, it's like everything's like the most beautiful it ever is. I don't know what it is. So it was quiet, peaceful. The stars were just amazing. And okay, I got to keep going. So, and then I followed the route that I had. My calculation for my trip said it was going to be a whole lot faster than it was. I think it's because I was being timid on the throttle because I was very nervous about running out of battery power, because I knew I wouldn't have the stamina to probably pedal the rest of the way, and I didn't know where the batteries might run out. I mean, it's 70 miles, or 66 miles. It's not a short trip. I had 2 batteries I had to spare. Each one was supposed to go about 44 miles, but that doesn't take into account elevation changes and everything else. So, at some point, I started freezing because I was soaking wet from the waist down, so my shoes were cold. So I switched. I took a few breaks on the trip, but once I changed out my shoes and changed out my pants, and then kept going further down, and then getting nervous about the time. Some small, I mean, for what it's worth, there's a lot of small towns I've never seen before. That was kind of cool. Somewhere in there, at a small town, I changed the battery out. And then I kept going. At some point, I noticed it was 5 a.m., so I knew Emily was going to be getting up, and I knew Leo was going to be around, and then I was kind of worried about that. And I was starting to hit home because I realized that it was on, I guess. Kind of kept going, made my way through, what was it, Cottage Grove area over there, maybe County T, and some other ones. I had a nice little route that really avoided a lot of traffic. And took myself down to, I want to say it's a park that starts with O. It's a 45-minute walk, pretty much straight north of Dutch Mill Park, or Dutch Mill Park and Ride. There's a very thick wooded area that you can easily ride a bike through and then park it, so I thought, well, that was a good place, I thought, where I could leave it and then someone give to somebody else. I'm sure someone's enjoying it. It was a very nice bike. Bike, a helmet, 2 batteries, and then I had a duffel bag, the one that I have up there, and then the 2 other packs that I hoofed it then down that street. I think there's a fire department or something on that stretch of walk, and then walk to Mill. So I got about 9:15 is where I got to the park. There was a number of items at that point that I threw away in a garbage can that was in the park. And then my sweatshirt was wet, so I got rid of that too. I want to carry a wet sweatshirt at the end of the bus. Got to the park and ride. The bus ended up being about 10 minutes late, so that was kind of nice. Because I got there right about 10. Hopped on the bus, and that was that. Bus went to Milwaukee. It has a short stop there, maybe 10-15 minutes or so. A few people off, a few people on, then on to Chicago. Chicago, there was a bus transfer. Excuse me. That was maybe an hour or 2 that I had to sit and wait in the Chicago terminal. And the Detroit bus, hopped in there. I think I told you in all seriousness, Greyhound is highly underrated. It was a nice trip, so for what it's worth. Went up to Detroit. So I think I got there late at night. Had one more bus switch, which is the one that takes you across the border. Got to the border crossing. We all got off. I was slightly nervous about this point because I had to go through some security. I wasn't entirely sure what was going on back at home. I didn't know if it was like a missing persons or if it was a drowning or what was going on over here. So I pull out the passport. The first security guy asked me my driver's license, and I said, I don't have my driver's license. He's like, he was pretty agitated that I didn't have my driver's license, and I said, but I took a bus. I'm my normal self, where I'm kind of just cordial and whatever. And I said, but I took a bus. Like, as like per the rules on the Greyhound website and anywhere else you look, you just need your photo ID of a passport to cross the border. That guy didn't like the answer, so he pulled me aside and had me sit there. And then another guy ended up coming over and talked to him. And they were starting to get a little suspicious about whatever. And, he started to ask me about, like, why are you coming to Canada? And I said, I'm taking a bus trip up to, I didn't lie to them at all. I said, I'm taking a bus trip to Canada, to the airport here, and I'm going to fly out to go on a trip. And I just thought the bus trip would be fun. And he's like, well, show me your plane ticket. And well, my phone was dead at the time, and I technically didn't have a plane ticket, so he didn't like that answer either. And I said, seriously, my phone literally just died after, right after that parking ride. I sent like one message to Kaya saying, I'm here, I'm on the bus, so far so good. Hope you're doing that too. And then like minutes after that, my phone just, I couldn't get past the login screen. It was like stuck on a reset mode where it just kind of would keep your setting. And when you'd start to, and then it started to, I don't know if there's something with the touch screen, but it started to auto push buttons. So then, and if your touch code, if you set the wrong code like 5 or 10 times, like the phone is rendered useless. Well, that's what happened to the phone. So it was in full reset mode. And I was, that's awful. Because at least before, even though I didn't have like cell service, I just needed Wi-Fi service, and I still had a device. It was easy. But yeah, no phone medicine, nothing. So I had to have the computer, but so back to Canada. He was asking for plane tickets. I said I didn't have one, but I said, I'm looking at one of these 2 flights. He's like, why did you buy the flight? And I said, because I can save some money if I get to the airport and buy the cheaper flight. There's the cheap one that's now, no refund, no cancellation. And there's the next one that, if you pay more to have the ability to cancel or refund your flight. And I was trying to save more money because I didn't have much with me. So I said, I'm looking at either this flight with Air France, or I'm looking at this flight with Air Canada. And truthfully, there was a flight with Poland, Polish Air, whatever it's called, also. But I was a little, call me paranoid, but I didn't want to fly into Warsaw because of the war, so I just wanted to avoid that area. I thought going around was better. Even though it was like way cheaper with their flight. So I told him I was interested in one of these 2 flights. He said he could only find the Air Canada one. He couldn't find the Air France one to verify that I was telling the truth. And I'm like, truthfully, it's there. I said, my phone obviously is no good, but I said I can go to the bus and grab my computer and pull it up and show that this is what I'm looking at. He's like, no, you don't have to do that. He did start to ask. He's like, are you like? I think he started to wonder if I was trying to run away from something, because he started to ask questions like, are you married? Is everything okay? Do you have kids? Do you have a mortgage? Are you up to date on your mortgage? Those are the questions he's asking me. And I said I am. And it was true. And I said, I can get the laptop and I can pull it up if you want. I can do it. And he's like, no, that's fine. You don't have to do that. At some point there, he kind of leaned over and he said, oh, because then he's like, well, so why are you going to, so where are you going? I said, I'm going to go to, I'm hopefully some commuter, I'm either landing in Munich or Paris, and then I'm going to go to Tbilisi in Georgia. And he's like, what are you going to do there? I said, I'm going to meet a lady. Her name's Kaya. I'm like, okay. And then at some point, he was kind of like, what? He kind of leaned over and said, your personal business isn't really I really don't care what you're doing or not doing or whatever. Other than I'm just concerned about who's coming into Canada, and if you're going to do something that's obviously illegal or dangerous. So no, I'm truthfully just going to the airport to fly out. And then maybe after a little bit more discussion or whatever, to me obviously it seemed like forever, but maybe it was only 15, 20 minutes total. He let me go back on the bus and then got to the airport. So got to the airport. As soon as I got to the airport, I bought a plane ticket. So I had hoped to try to use an Air Canada gift card, because I thought that would be a way to, I guess, have another layer of confusion as far as just making it more difficult to kind of find out where I went. But gift cards, if you buy a gift card at any given place in America, they're only good in the US. And Air Canada is a gift card purchase in Canada. So I needed a gift card. I needed a way to purchase an international purchase. I ended up finally finding a way in my research that Western Union is the only one that offers an international way to use a debit card. Every time I would try to make that purchase with Air Canada, it would get denied. So the printout I think that you saw, it says this is not a receipt. It's like I don't know. It maybe says it is, but then you go back in and the charge ends up getting denied, and there's no code on that sheet. You never get a code. So I never ever had an Air Canada gift card or any way to do that. So in the airport then that morning, because I think I got to the Toronto Pearson Airport about 5:30ish. I used the Western gift card and ordered my Air France flight, which ended up being at like 10:30 at night that night. So it was a long night in the airport, waiting there. So slept as much as I could because I was pretty tired yet, and then got through security, no big deal. There's probably 100 side stories I could tell you, but they're not important. I missed maple syrup over there, so I wish I would have bought some. And you go to the Toronto airport, and like the only thing for sale in the Toronto airport is maple syrup and maple leaf. It's ridiculous. It's like everywhere. All you see is these jars and jars, small ones, big ones, giant ones. So anyways, I did end up buying, I think I had forgotten a toothbrush and a few other things, so I did make one cash purchase up there. Toothbrush, mouthwash, deodorant, something like that. And maybe a water, I think. So hopped on the flight, took the flight over to, I did have a meal, whatever. I had a Chinese meal, which obviously was crazy delicious because I still hadn't eaten real food in hours or days. The Air France flight hopped on. The Air France flight was amazing. The food was fantastic again, probably because I hadn't really eaten real food in a couple of days. Landed in Paris. I think about that time I did pull up the computer and kind of see what's maybe going on over here. I was interested, obviously. It was like a 3-hour layover maybe there. There was a little delay in the flight, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. There were some weather issues, I think, either in Tunisia or Paris. Got off the ground. I mean, pretty much uneventful. Nice flight. A little turbulence coming into Tbilisi. Not such a big deal. Landed in Tbilisi. I don't know, maybe just because I'm, do stuff like this or paranoid or whatever, but I guess I was a little nervous going through. I thought it was gonna be kind of difficult to get through customs in Georgia. Got in line, got to the counter, take your cap off, smile for the camera, give them your passport. They look at you, looks at the passport, he says, "This is your first time in Georgia?" I said, "Yeah." "Welcome." Really? I just I don't know, because I just thought there'd be something like, why are you here? What are you doing? No, not really. So got in somewhere in the, probably getting closer to 11 o'clock now. That was it Wednesday night? 13, 14, whatever it was. There is Wi-Fi in the terminal. So I did open up my computer and I did try to send a message over to Kaya just saying, I'm here. I hope we can still meet about this time. So otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do here. The airport is ridiculously small even for a capital city. Staying there, a lot of people came in. Plenty of people spoke English. Asked if I need a ride, taxi ride. I said, no, I'm waiting for someone. Maybe an hour or so, she finally ended up coming in and we met and hopped in a taxi. And yeah, went to a hotel, so I guess I gave you more than just Sunday night.
It's okay.
So that takes us to Wednesday.
Yeah. So Monday night was the flight? The 12th?
Monday.
Or
So Monday morning was the 10 a.m. bus ride. So Monday morning was the 10 a.m. bus ride. Tuesday morning I arrived in Toronto Pearson. Tuesday morning.
Okay.
And then Tuesday night was the flight.
So like Tuesday, 5:30 a.m.
Correct.
Okay. And then you landed in Paris about when?
I want to say it was about a 7 or 8 hour flight. I think it translated to, I'm kind of guessing. I want to say my flight away was 3 something. I'd lose an hour plus 4 hours. This is maybe 5 hours 10. Left on about 5. I maybe got to Paris ish, maybe 1, 2 when I was there till 4 or 5, something there.
And then you got to Tbilisi?
Tbilisi.
Tbilisi.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
I think that's how it's named.
That's how you say it anyway.
That's how I say it. So Tbilisi. It's 10:30 somewhere there's when it landed.
Or maybe Wednesday night already.
Wednesday night, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have anything to declare in any. Georgia allows you more cash to carry into the country. Canada is the one that has the lowest amount, and it was still like, I don't know, $8 or $9 or some $1,000. I only had $5,500 on me, so in that ballpark range.
So, all right. Taxi to a hotel Wednesday night, and then we get back to
We
that.
stayed in Tbilisi till what, Sunday? Just gonna sights of the city. Everything else aside, if you're looking for a cheap getaway, it's a beautiful old city that truly I never felt like, I mean, me being a Wisconsin boy, you feel out of your element a little bit because there's like open markets and bantry and stuff like that. But I mean, I guess I was never in a dangerous situation. I didn't really go and I didn't hang out at night in crazy places. A lot of people want to sell you stuff, obviously. But otherwise, it's just a beautiful city. Old. I mean, like the one cathedral I stepped into was built like in 860. I mean, there's nothing like that exists here. So, anyways,
Yeah.
Yeah. I could talk a long time about that kind of stuff. Just east of Georgia itself.
Yeah. Spent a lot of time there. You were there for
4 months.
4 months, yeah. We were here for that.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. No,
Not having as much fun as I was.
no, probably not. Probably not. I guess going back to some of the things that happened on the lake. Just for clarity, you said you put the items that you were going to take with you on the north side of the road in the tree line?
I think it's the north side, right? Towards the big lake side.
Correct.
There's like a
Correct.
yeah. And so like I had the big duffel bag that I think the big duffel bag that I had there, and then the bike.
Okay.
I guess take that. I don't think it really matters, but I have 2 511 packs. I have a small rucksack that's just a sling, and then I have the backpack, and then I have the duffel bag that I had, the other duffel bag I brought. So I just had 3 items plus the bike and the helmet. I left. I think the duffel bag I had with me in the kayak.
Why didn't you leave that with the other items out by the bike?
Because I had like you have to realize there's a little bit of fuzz and cloud going on to it. I mean, there are a lot of bigger picture items besides some of the finer details. I did have the rafters in the box, so I think I had. I mean, some of these smaller details were decided in minutes as I parked the trailer, and I'm like, now I need to get here to here, and I was like, well, where am I going to put this other stuff quick? And so I kind of just went and then through here to here, and so I tried to take as little as possible, but I still ended up getting the big duffel bag came with me on the water.
Okay.
And I think maybe there was more, maybe another clothes item or 2 and a few other things, and the crew was pretty full and heavy. With that, there was the pump for the raft, and you have the oars. I mean, it's not necessarily, there's still stuff to do. So I left I think the 511 backpack there with the bike, and then the helmet, stuff like that I didn't obviously need in the water. So.
Okay. Just trying to think of other things that probably would be beneficial for clarity. So, talk to me. That was kind of a very good rundown, step by step as to what occurred and a lot of the important aspects of everything that did occur. One of the things that I think we're definitely interested in is why you did what you did. Now, I'm not saying necessarily why you decided to do this act at this point. What I'm more interested in is why you took the things that you took with you, why you did what you did with the phone, if there's anything specific there as to the whys. And one of the things that you mentioned too, and I should probably stop firing so many at you at once, but one of the things you mentioned was the Air Canada to add a layer. Talk me through some of that planning and some of the things that you did and why you took the
I imagine I'll get me in trouble by seeing everything. So. But
I mean,
if your goal is to disappear, then you would do everything in your power to try to disappear. I mean, if the whole, it's virtually the amount of hours that I spent in trying to disappear would blow your mind. Last year, the things that you have to do now in 2024 to make that possible, it's almost impossible. I knew there would be cameras that I would be in front of. I knew there would be a situation where you have to flash your passport. You're attempting to do this without breaking the law in any way, right? I mean, so as soon as you do a fraudulent, if I have a fake passport made or other things like that could occur, then you're obviously definitely breaking the law and you're definitely getting yourself in trouble. So I wasn't like talking to some Joe on the street to get something made, or you're doing everything as legally as you can to not get in trouble as much as possible. So I guess everything kind of hinged on me dying in the lake. If you come to the lake and 10 minutes later you realize I'm not there, then you're not going to look for me. You're going to look elsewhere, and then it's going to be a real short trip to Georgia.
So, I mean, essentially it was in an effort to create as much of a layer of secrecy as possible. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'm not. I guess I'm not. Yeah. I guess.
No.
Obviously, the whole idea was to sell the death. If you don't sell the death, you don't.
Right. You wanted to make it as.
I knew at some point. I just didn't know how long it would take. I didn't know if the whole idea to going to Canada to fly. So I couldn't fly out of America.
Good.
Except that I'm almost certain as soon as you run a missing persons thing, I'll pop up, the passport pops up in America. Almost certain it'll happen right away. Canada, I'm like, do you have to ask for that information from Canada? I'm sure you'll get it, but you have to ask, or is it automatic? And that was my question. I don't know the answer. You guys do.
We share it with you, but we're concerned as to how you would use it.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
But so I knew at some point it was probably going to be found. So I guess I was doing every effort to limit how much and when. And the plan that I came up with was the best that I could come up with to limit. And I guess truthfully, I got it 60 days or something before you guys started looking somewhere else. It sort of worked. Sorry to answer the question.
No, you kind of did.
You have to obviously. I'm here. I'm in the lake. I'm not anywhere else. There's not even a hint of a reason to think that I'm somewhere else. The whole
it worked.
the whole idea of a computer. I knew. There's people way above my pay grade that can resurrect files and do things like that. So I'm like, okay, so I need a new computer, I need a new hard drive. The only thing I did wrong is I copied over one too many things with the iDrive for Emily, and I was trying to be helpful, and that's what happened. So, anyways, but otherwise, you would have. The only thing really you should have known is that I passed the border. I passed the border, I went into Canada. I flew out of Toronto on an Air France flight. I landed in Tbilisi, and poof. I don't know. That was the idea.
Right. So, especially again, thinking about the lake portion of this, all of it, honestly. And you talked about this a little bit in some of the email conversations that we had. If you could do things different, what would you have done differently to make you more successful in your attempt to...
It's totally like you're writing a book now.
Yeah, I know. So here's the part where you get to teach us a little bit, right? Because
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know.
If I could do it differently, it would be a more drawn-out process. That being said, I would not have emotionally been able to do that. And I guess what I mean by that is there were a lot of things that I cut too close to the wire, or too close to August. Even like the computer stuff, and just too many things that were kind of last minute. And I just couldn't. It wasn't until maybe that last month where I finally all of a sudden discovered that Western Union has an international way to buy something. I was like, because it was, everything. Sure, I can maybe get to Toronto Pearson, but if I can't buy a plane ticket, I'm not getting across the Atlantic. Everything really kind of hinged on that. So when I talk about not really sure I was going to do that till. When did I finally discover Western Union? Maybe June. I was getting kind of late on there, June, July. those last few pieces started to kind of fall together. So I guess, yeah, if someone really wanted to do it, I think you could. You would just, it has to be more over a couple of years, or maybe, more over a couple of years and get a few things established. The computer thing, I think, is easy. You just don't. And I've always been a person that doesn't do a Facebook. Well, I only have a Facebook account because of the business. I never have Facebook accounts. I always limit my stuff online, mostly because I don't trust anyone. And I think I told you this a little bit, for what it's worth. After COVID, I didn't trust the government, so it is what it is. If you're not allowed to go to church, it kind of says a lot about your government. So at that point, maybe Ross already told you this too, but I've always set up some independent email addresses that were just separate from normal, just because we were concerned about things at that time during COVID. So, and not like we're going to do some kind of revolutionary thing stupid, but we just wanted to be able to have a way to talk freely amongst each other and not get in trouble. Yeah, so I guess mostly I would mostly do it longer. The cash, everyone knows the cash economy is booming in America, for better or for worse. You can go anywhere and buy cash all day long. So I guess from that standpoint, I would probably have tucked more cash away over the years, like 100 here, 100 there, and then had my goal was always to have closer to the maximum that I didn't have to declare in Canada, which was maybe 9,500 or something. Because obviously it'd be, if you're saying goodbye to your whole life over here, you want to have as much to have over there as you're starting. Because I didn't really have a job at that point either. I would have spent longer on the language, as it was I only learned Russian for a couple months. What do I know? I can order a meal. I can say a few things. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Functional anyway, right?
It's a quasi-functional Russian.
Yeah.
So.
What about the lake portion of it? Is there anything that you would have done differently once you arrived at Green Lake?
Brought a kayak. Or brought a paddle.
Brought a paddle.
I really wasn't avoided the mud when I got out of the kayak. Truthfully, almost everything in the lake portion went. Other than I was hoping to get out sooner, but you can only, when you do something like this, you're only in control of so much. So I can't control the storm of water who's still coming into the launch. That's all going to be is what it is. You just have to be willing to be more patient than they are. So how long do you want to sit on the water? If you end up off the water at 3 a.m., can you still make it to the bus stop? I don't know. I hope I can. So there's a lot. There's still a bunch of risk in there too involved. So, but I was trying to avoid as much risk as possible, I guess.
So one other thing you talked about was the mud on the lake that you got out of the.
What's that grassy, marshy area on that north side?
Yeah.
You know where it is?
Well,
it's like right across from the parking lot. There's the boat launch. There's the boat launch, and then you head towards the west. You follow the trees down. Right when you get it over that mess, there's a bunch of cattails that's out in that area, and it's just awful.
You're getting the map up.
Yeah. So here's the park. And that's where your van
was parked here.
Yep.
I think this is all mush.
Right there.
So there's all mush.
So that's right in here.
Oh, so you walk through the wooded area?
That's not wooded though. It's like 10-foot cattails and
there's like
swamp
there's
grass.
a duck blind in there somewhere.
I never saw that. It was dark.
So
there weren't a lot of trees.
Okay.
There weren't a lot of trees. It was. I'm gonna guess it was right in here.
Okay.
There were some trees, but it was mostly just cattails.
Okay, so you just was closer to the bridge then. Must have been closer to the bridge.
I was trying to target like here, but I was balancing. I also didn't want to come up here and then hop up here and then one of your squads drives by. Right. I'm just saying. So I guess I was trying to get somewhere here where I had a little bit of cover and I could at least do something. And then, but I ended up targeting probably this much kayak.
Okay. That makes sense. The next one I had is you came down 73 and turned left onto the county road, and then you met a squad. Is that right?
Well, when I first came at about 9 or 10,
Yeah.
I came this way from Dale, Wisconsin.
Yeah, on 73.
Came 73.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Here, 73.
73 to 73.
And then I turned, right as I was turning left, there was a squad, maybe a charger, turning right.
Okay.
About that time. And I was semi-nervous too because the trailer at that time I had a back tail light on.
Okay. So you thought, oh, I might get stopped
No,
because of the
that
tail?
truck pretty quick too.
And then the e-bike was, where'd you put that?
I think there's some trees right here. Maybe even, there's some trees close to the road that are bigger. And if you stand over there, it goes really quick. So I was able to kind of, somewhere between here and here, there's a stretch where I would have had the backpack.
So you were pretty close with where you wanted to be with the
I was close, I just
inflatable.
didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
And then yes, I ran across the road, washed myself off, came back over, saw these awful footprints, and I thought, there's no way in the world you guys are going to miss these tomorrow. Because it was bright, sunny, beautiful, no rain schedule, the van was parked here, and to me it was clear as day, but of course, it could have been, to you guys it could have been anyone.
Sure.
So,
And do you have any idea where you started? If you looked at a map, do you have any idea where you started paddling from? When I say paddling, out on the lake. You took the kayak
back in, or you mean back out?
You took the kayak in the water here?
I took a gamble that this bridge
Uh-huh.
didn't have this thing going on here. There's like a net and a bunch of things
Mhm.
going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
I got burned.
Carp area.
Yeah. So I hopped in here because it was just easy. Instead of having to haul things across and then risk being saw, I hopped in here, paddle over here, and then had my oh crap moment when I realized that there was this. Because then, like right in here, you have to kind of like jump up on a ridge, get the kayak, everything else, get it and then set it up over here, and then go. And then once I did it, I was fine. But it was there was just a lot of moments that thing where I was like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
That was one.
So you had to go over the road, and then you got back in the kayak and loaded everything back up and paddled.
And then paddled, and I just knew. I know the deepest part of the lake is here.
Yeah.
So I basically just visually tried to get myself about halfway where these lights looked about the same as these lights, and I knew I was somewhere where I wanted to be. So
Okay.
from what I saw on the news, you guys were everywhere where I was in this mess.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, at that point, a lot of our location stuff was based on the phone things. You know what I mean? We were obviously chasing.
the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and you threw the phone in the lake after you had exchanged text messages with Emily, and then
I was kind of concerned too. Obviously, if Emily could have woke up at 1 or 2 and said, "Well, you're not home yet," even said anything. And that would be a thing too. So I had to kind of buy myself. So it wasn't uncommon for me to either be at the shop working, or I had actually been on the water in years past too, where I'm fishing or just recreational with the boat and just doing something. And no one in the family wanted to join me, so I'm like, whatever. And so I was just out there enjoying the water, and then they go to sleep and I come home late. So it wasn't like the most uncommon thing out there. So I like to do adventures.
how many times have you been to Green Lake?
On water, that's my first time.
That was your first time. So you studied the lake, and you knew that where the deepest area was.
I studied it online, it's all there. And then
Yeah.
I did do one drive by the lake to get some idea.
Yeah. You and I might bounce around a little bit, but it's just if there's something that
Yeah, only thing I was wondering right now is, so you took the big duffel bag out with you on the kayak. What was in there that?
What was the other inflatable, and like the 2 small paddles for that, and I think just and some of the gear some of the clothes I think I was taking with me. I don't remember if anything else that was, I guess, like needed for that kayak trip. Again, as I kind of said, I parked. My goal was to go from the park to the water as fast as possible before somebody saw me, just in whatever. And so I was just kind of, I wanted to carry as little as possible, but I knew I needed to carry my fishing pole, my net, the tackle box, and then I think I just had that, the other inflatable in that bag, so I think I threw the bag out. So that's why.
How many inflatables did you have?
Just one.
Oh, just the one. What did you do with it after you came back?
Trashed it.
Like on Green Lake or somewhere else?
Madison, Couch Cave.
Okay.
Oh, so that was one of the items that you put in the trash?
Mm.
Yes, or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was willing. I mean, just things like, I had a 45-minute hike. So the rest of my day in the evening, and while you guys were all fast asleep, that was what I was doing. And I still had a 45-minute haul with whatever I was carrying. And I was like, boy, I just have to get to the bus where I can sleep for the next 2 days. And so I got rid of a bunch of things that I just didn't need.
So you lightened your load purposefully just because you're...
And obviously I didn't need the boat anymore. The boat served its purpose. It was done. So.
Right. So. The e-bike. Sorry, did you have anything else?
No, go ahead.
Okay. The e-bike. Do you happen to know what brand or anything
I can pull it up if you want, sure.
Yeah? Like if search on a phone or what?
Go to Amazon. You can probably find it in about 5 minutes or less.
Okay. Well, we'll look at that, all right?
I don't, obviously, well, for obvious reasons, I got rid of everything that had to pertain to that. But it was really easy to find.
Okay.
I wished I could have had it in Georgia. I can't tell you how many times I wished I had it in Georgia. But it's a sweet bike. It ran, I think you can get a one battery version for like $750, $800. But I think I did the 2 battery version for us, maybe $1,000 or something. I had we had some gift cards, so you pretty much have to go to Amazon.
Okay.
So, what was it? She was going to say
Gift cards you were talking about.
gift cards. So obviously that wasn't a cheap purchase either, right? I mean, it's another $1,000 out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
We had a number of credit card gift cards, like credit card cashbacks. So I was able to use a bunch of that towards Amazon. So and then Emily has her Amazon account, and then I had mine. So I used mine. I bought the bike, and then I deleted the account. So I don't even think you can pull up the account anymore. It doesn't exist. So. Yep. So I can still answer questions if you want.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. So the bike, and then you said at one point you kind of checked back to see what we were up to. What did you find out?
I think at that time it was just the report that there was a missing. I don't think there was any name associated with it. I think there was just a kayaker was reported missing at Green Lake. So, and kind of about that time, then everything kind of becomes more real at that point too.
So that was kind of a moment for you that, where it was like, it happened, right?
Yeah, you either got to keep going or be done or something. But there really isn't any turning back. Like you pushed a rock down a hill and it's going to kind of go somewhere, and you're going to have to kind of accept whatever's going to happen with that rock. So. Okay, so I said I could find it. The problem is Chinese companies make new bikes like every 3 months.
I may just give them different names.
Sometimes. I truly can find it to you and
that's
send it to you. I can probably do it on Telegram if you want. Easy.
Sure.
Maybe today or something. It looked like any of the other ones. It actually looked a little more like a motorcycle.
Okay.
So it truly looked pretty cool. Had a nice big front headlight, LED. Had actual turn signals on the back. I think there was a way to modify it so you could. I think Wisconsin has a law as far as speeds for e-bikes, but I think you could change it. Then you probably would have had to get a license, but I didn't mess around with that. I just didn't have any time for that.
Did you meet any traffic on your way? Was there any
cars that passed me? Yeah. There were a few cars. 73, I think, a truck or two, and I just as quickly as possible I got off 73 because I just didn't want to die there. And then the county road was fine. No big deal. I was worried about hitting deer. There's a lot of stretches of tall grass down there, and you're cruising along on a bike, and then and that'll end that trip pretty quick too.
Any close encounters with deer? No.
I had some that pop out, but they were further away.
Oh,
You're not going motorcycle speed.
right.
I had one wrong turn. Oh, because then too, my phone officially died when I got there, but it wasn't great, and the service in that whole stretch of the area is terrible. So,
Especially for Verizon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had I had one wrong turn, and then I turned around back, and some from memory, somewhere I was going. I had a paper map, but it wasn't perfect. It had a paper map, I think, with the street names on it, but it's 2 or 3 in the morning. You're like looking at a street, and I've never driven any of those roads before.
So you had planned it out and you had mapped your route on paper?
Yeah, it looks great during the day.
Sure. But
Try it at night.
nobody told you were going to be running around.
Well, I knew it would be at night. I mean, but those are the things that you get to the moment and you're like, oh, I guess I didn't think about that part. But I got to keep going. Here I am. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if I could do it differently, I would have had like a GPS that actually worked for service or I don't know, that kind of stuff.
Like a good old-fashioned TomTom or something like that?
Perfect.
That would have been the deal?
Perfect.
Is there an outlet on the bike? Is there a 12 volt?
No, there's a USB charger.
USB charger?
Yeah, you can charge your phone while you're going. I'm telling you, it was awesome.
That'd be the setup. Wow. So, yeah, I guess on the lake. Oh, one other thing too that I thought of that confused us for a while. In the hold of the kayak, there was probably about 5 gallons of water.
It's a cheap kayak.
Okay.
Well, at that point, it would have been flipped over. But I'm saying even normally, those were the $199 special the department fleet a few years back. It's great for what for what you want to use it for. Great duck kayak, it's perfect for that. But it just seems like it was a sieve. I mean, water would get into it and just kind of find its way down to the bottom, and it was like almost impossible to empty it out. But in this case, it would have been flipped over. So you would have had all kinds of wave action and more water coming in easily.
Okay, so
that's why.
So the seals on the hatches and stuff, would they leak? I mean,
Yeah, it's not a
Okay.
kayak. It's a glorified toy.
Okay. It was just something that I recall when we found it, we're like, there's like 5 gallons of water in this thing. And then we actually took it and we tested it on the lake. We put it in the water and we were hopeful that, we'd find a leak. But we didn't.
So it's the floats. No, it may never sink in it. So.
Yeah. Did it have, as you're transporting from the trailer to the lake, was there water in it from a previous trip or anything like that?
Maybe a little bit, a few drops or something. Or
Okay.
Small glass, full or something. I try to always empty it out when I store it.
Sure. It's just something that came to mind. And then the life jacket. So you went to Walmart and wanted to purchase a life jacket, but did it?
They didn't have any.
They didn't have any. So you were hopeful that you'd have a life jacket to wear while you...
I'm in a toy raft.
While you were in the toy raft, okay.
It is 200 feet deep.
Right.
The waves weren't, I was trying to self-preserve myself to some respects. I don't know. I really wanted a life jacket, but they didn't have any, so.
And with the life jacket, that was... What was that?
So I flipped a coin, I guess.
Oh.
But I guess part of the sell is to put the life jacket on the kayaks. If there's no if you don't find a life jacket, then maybe there's a good chance I floated back. I don't know. That's what I thought. And it wasn't uncommon for up north. We did it all the time up north. We went through I'm sure maybe you heard, we were set Eagle River earlier that week for the family vacation. Oftentimes we'd stow the life jacket and the net up, and then it's on with us. I think it was effectively the law. I don't know. I think, right? Yeah. So oftentimes we have it there. So it's with us, and then we just go out. So.
Anything?
So one other thing I was thinking of as you were talking is you said you put a lot of research into making this happen. I'm just kind of curious, like what kind of research did you have to do to make this happen? Just from my own curiosity. Like what kind of things went through your
I guess
head?
the question is, I mean, I looked at some other places to potentially die, places closer to home. There's a ton of water in Madison that's right next to the park and ride that would eliminate, $1,000 purchase of a bike. It would eliminate a very questionable overnight 70-mile bike ride. I mean, that's a wild card. And so I looked at some of those, but there really weren't. Some of those lakes are deeper, but there is no place for you to, I guess, quietly come back on shore, as far as I could tell. And the Madison's just a big city, so. So I guess location, I think I told you in the email, one of the spots that I was really interested in was up in the Mississippi River, because I do duck hunt, so I figured I could do duck hunting in November, go up there, and then people die all the time in the Mississippi River. And then you wash away, and you could be anywhere, and then silk cover you up, and you could disappear for a long time. But is it near Hudson there? There's a park and ride just on the Minnesota side, where you could pretty much be in the river there and then vanish and then hop in the park and ride and go. So I mean but I couldn't. That was a hard sell to him. Like I couldn't find a way to get me that far away from home. Right, that wasn't questionable. Mm-hmm. So I mean that was one of the parts of research. Then it was the research of. The whole research of how do you get over from North America to Georgia. And I kind of said some of that before with the credit card purchase. I mean, maybe, like I said, you would have planned more advanced to have some of those cards kind of ready to go. Because I think a lot of those cards have 2-year expiration dates anyways, so you could buy it 2 years ago and have it sitting around and no one even knows you have it, and then you just decide to use it. That's that. So that kind of stuff. And then as far as I did some research on, how plausible is it to, I guess, how deep does the water have to be for you to potentially just totally vanish? I mean, and then you find out that, I don't remember what the exact number was, but if you get down deep enough, it's cold enough where your body may not bloat to come back up at the top. So I'm like, okay, I mean, that's obviously a thing, because if you die in 30 feet of water, you're going to float to the top. You're never going to sit down at the bottom. So you can't go any of those places. You got to go somewhere deeper. What else could I say I did research on? Just so much research on how to spend money internationally without having anyone notice that you're doing it. Yeah. Lots and lots and lots and lots. I would say there's a number of precautions, obviously, that Western Union does have to have, probably because of the federal government. So there's limits on how much you can actually have on a card. So one of the risks that I did take, that I didn't really want to take, was I had to get, was it $1,100 or $1,200? The plane ticket was like $1,200 or whatever it was, so I had to have enough to do that. That's over like the $1,000, $500 threshold for Western Union to not have to flash your personal information. I mean, because you can go to Western Union and do stuff with money as long as you're under, is it $500, something like that. It's not a big deal. But if you go over a threshold, then you got to say, I'm Ryan Borgwardt, my birthday, social security number, and so on. So that was one risk that I knew I was going to take. But again, if I do that 2 years before, it's not a big deal.
All those purchases were under $500, right?
Not the plane ticket.
Oh, the Western Union ones weren't?
Well, there are only two big purchases. The e-bike, which was done almost entirely
with gift cards.
It was like $800 of Amazon gift cards plus like $200 or $300 on the Western Union gift card. So that was that. And the other one was I was just trying to get over enough money onto the one Western Union card to use it for the plane ticket purchase. So, that answers your question.
I think so.
Maybe I want this.
Yeah, I was.
Did you have more than one Western Union?
I did have two.
Okay.
Because at first there are some planes you can different airlines. I knew all about this stuff last summer. Different airlines have different ways they allow you to pay for it. Air Canada was really nice in that you could use up to so many gift cards to make a purchase of a ticket. So one of the ways potentially around the Western Union card was if I could find a way to get like $400 Air Canada gift cards, then Western Union doesn't know it's me. I get my gift cards. I don't think there's any trackable way on that end to use the gift card to purchase other than me going through security on the airplane. I think it's just a purchase and you're gone. So I really wanted to do Air Canada, but I guess I did. I think at some point there at the end I saw Air Canada and Air France, and then I noticed that with Air Canada it was going to be a 10-hour layover in Munich, and I think by that time I just didn't want to do the 10-hour layover in Munich. I wanted to do less, and Air France had the less layover, so that's ultimately why then I went with Air France.
Do you remember your flight number? Air France flight number?
I think it's in my notebook, maybe.
Okay. Just curious. I was just wondering if
but,
it was...
without a phone, my notebook became my thing. And I guess funny story about that. So my phone dies. I have a notebook, but I don't have a pen because I wasn't really planning to use it. When I was down in Chicago, I went up to the bus counter and I just kind of said, "Do you have a pen I could just use? Like I don't need to take it, but she's like, you can have it." So anyways, for me, I was like, yes. And then I finally had a pen that I was using for everything because I had no way to do anything.
You had your computer though, right?
I did, but it's not like a Chromebook or anything. It's like what you saw, a copy of it. So it's a 15.6, whatever. It's a big one.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting in a bus terminal and you're doing this.
So you had on that computer though, you had your email accounts and all that stuff. So you didn't like after
the email accounts are all the printout that I saw you have. I had so I printed a bunch of stuff that I had with me, paper copies, just in case something wouldn't work right, or I didn't have access to Wi-Fi.
Critical information, shall we say?
Pretty critical.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, I forgot to ask you a question there. But it was, so I had the printout of stuff. And then, but you literally have to be, if the phone doesn't work, I have to be by Wi-Fi, which in the buses, I forgot the bus said Wi-Fi or not. They might have had Wi-Fi, but I wasn't going to sit on the bus with my big laptop, so it sat underneath the bus the whole trip. What else? Yeah, flight number still and stuff. It's all there. I probably deleted it all out of the email.
Deleted all the flight numbers out of your email account? Is that what
Like that, you get the confirmation.
all the confirmations.
Yeah, I probably deleted all that stuff out of there because the whole idea was, obviously I don't, like when I die, I don't use any of my old stuff. That whole life is behind me. I had like a transitional account stuff set up, and then obviously so I had a transitional phone, a transitional email address, and then once I got to Tbilisi, I was going to have like the final transition, I guess, so the new email address, whatever new phone I ended up getting. And then that's that. And then this would be also burned, right? So when you had your temporary phone number, that's gone. And then this other account, you can just abandon, no big deal.
So and the purpose of that was separation, or was that to create another layer, or both, or not?
Yeah, kind of all the above. because at some point I think, well, I knew you'd figure out I went through Canada. You would know I ended up making a plane. I mean, at some point, I'm sure it's not that hard to conjure up information to say, well, I ended up flying out on Air France, blah, blah, blah. And then you trace that back to the source of the payment. And then you probably can start to trace that back to, well, I went to this email address and this phone number registered. I mean, I'm sure that's all easy stuff to do. Just it takes a little bit of time. So yeah, I was trying to, and then if I carry that with me over here, now it's just another, well, gosh, it's right here. So yeah, I was, have this for this purpose, and then it's gone, and now you have a new thing. So I didn't think it was that.
Tracking, back to a little bit to tracking what was going on here. What were you, how long, you checked it, you said that one time, and found out that, it had been reported as a missing kayaker. How long did you track it? What did you find out about what was going on here?
I mean, I guess just every couple of days I was trying to kind of just have some knowledge of what was going on over here. I mean, I guess I didn't really want to be an international fugitive or anything like that, so I was trying to have some, and I'm obviously did homework on that too. I know Georgia would extradite if they had to. They did extradite, actually, while I was over there, someone else. But it was a much more serious crime. What I did, maybe did or not do. So I was like, I was aware of that kind of stuff.
So you were checking on activity back here every couple of days, and
I just kind of wanted to see what was going on and
sure,
get some idea what was going on, and, so I could try to. I mean, you can't plan anything unless you don't. You have to know what's going on if you need to. You can't just totally check out. You have to always be aware of what's going on, regardless. I mean,
what
in any situation.
What methods would you use to do that?
You just go online. You hop on a VPN and check out WBAY News or check out Milwaukee News or Madison News and read a news story. Try to stay on a VPN so that you don't pop up as a. I tried to really limit my clicking on the actual news story. I tried to only read the headlines because I feel pretty confident that people above my pay grade could say, gosh, there's this Georgian IP that keeps logging into our news story. That's interesting. What's going on there? So anyways,
yeah, you're not far off. A lot of the things that you said were happening.
So I try to just look at the news, just the headline, and that's all I would read. A couple of times would log in through some Russian VPNs and then maybe read the rest of the story or whatever. But other than that,
and so did you have any concerns about how long we would continue the search or what we would do at any point to try to find you?
Oh, I think as I kind of already told you, I didn't know something like Bruce's Legacy existed. So I was figuring maybe a couple of weeks and then it'd be something like, hey boaters, you're out on the lake. If you see anything that maybe looks a little interesting, give us a call. But why would you? At some point, without Bruce's Legacy or whatever, you can only do so much.
Right.
So you're not going to spend months and months and months of their wasting your time when I could legitimately, scientifically be at the bottom and you've never seen me again.
Right.
So it was just kind of a game of trying to wait that out. And then I noticed that there was a couple of news stories once, August and then maybe September, and then right at that October mark, it just kind of, there was nothing. And I was like, okay, well, either there's nothing or there's something. And I wasn't necessarily worried or anything at that point. I just thought maybe it truly. I was a little nervous when I saw Bruce's Legacy got involved. I was like, oh crap. Like I was feeling bad because I wanted them to be spending more time on real things than me. So that part kind of sucked. But obviously I couldn't call in and say, hey, stop looking or something. If you're trying to get away. So that was kind of it.
So you mentioned October, and I don't think you're incorrect there. Obviously, based on our reporting and stuff, you probably learned a little bit about what we accomplished, or when things started.
I was curious about what you're going to find. So I was trying to kind of hear about that a little bit. So
to see, curious about what we would find. Any reason specifically why? I mean,
I'm probably more just curiosity than anything else.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Not like a game per se. I guess I was curious one.
sure. So that happens, right? And we changed direction. And then the day, I think it was November 8th, at least here it was November 8th.
Yeah, for me it was it early morning for you guys?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, for me it was like the not the best way to start your weekend, about 7 p.m.
Yeah. So tell me about that. Tell me what that was like on that side.
I guess got an email, and like my heart fell through the floor. And then I saw the picture, and then I noticed that apparently I made a mistake somewhere. I made like the only mistake I couldn't make. So I was pretty upset with myself. I was feeling bad for Kai. She got the email too, obviously. I was at the moment I was maybe slightly irrationally worried, because I think you used the word a Russian officer was here, and I'm like, how the heck? Like, I'm like, Russia and America are not friends right now. Like what Russian officer are you using? Right? Like, hi, I'm from Saratov, Russia. We're investigating this thing with whoever. Like, really? And so Kat was like laughing. She's like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. And I'm like, but what if? Like, what if? Like, because I knew though that I knew you had her information. You knew you had everything about her. I'm like, it's possible, but probably very unlikely. So I guess at that point I was mostly then concerned about I didn't want to get Katya in trouble for anything, because she didn't want me to do this way. She was hoping I was going to just do a normal, I guess, divorce in the future, I guess. She thought this was worse. Pretty bad. And I'm not saying it wasn't worse or bad, for me, it checked more boxes for all the problems I had going on, so per se.
Talk to me about that. I think everybody's a little bit perplexed as to why you took this path.
Guess in the end it came down to the feeling of failure in about every aspect of your life. So, hoping to be remembered for better things, not all the mistakes that you have, and if you don't have the best communication relationship with your wife, it's, I don't know, hey honey, we might lose the house, or I don't know, those kind of things aren't super fun. That would be the general answer to that. I love my kids, they're awesome. It's really hard to work somewhere and not talk about your kids when they're awesome. That was hard for them. But I guess too, if you're feeling like you kind of feel on that end of things too, just for a host of reasons, they're never that interested in doing things with you, and it's not like they have to like my hobbies or anything or whatever. But if you're trying to do stuff with family that happens to be a hobby and they don't have any interest or want to do it with you either, it's just more stuff in the mix. And So, but what gives you some comfort? I guess I knew that they were surrounded by family and friends that there's obviously a ton of love that they have. So I knew I wasn't like leaving them behind in nothing as far as love and support. But as I kind of said before too, that's all crazy emotional training over months and months and months. I think just the inability to feel like you could talk to your wife about some of this stuff, and maybe the complete hopelessness that you have in the situation you're in. And you end up meeting a friend somewhere on the other side of the world that sort of has a somewhat similar story, and then you just end up becoming friends, and then the friend thing ends up turning into more, but you didn't really plan on it. It wasn't your intention. So a door kind of opens up for a way to possibly make some things work like that.
That's really heavy stuff, right?
Probably. Yeah. For months.
So
Years.
you respond to us, right? And we begin an email conversation, and that goes on for a while.
Like I said, at that point, to finish that thought, my biggest concern was not getting caught in trouble. So, and I knew right away that your main point there was to make sure that I was safe and secure. I mean, obviously, because even I was worried about it. The only reason I had her information was because I wanted to be safe about it. I didn't want to go over to DC and be dead somewhere. So I had all that stuff, and I did what little that I could do in Wisconsin to go on Google Earth and verify what she said her house was. And I mean, I could see all these things. And we had talked on video a number of times. I could see from her bedroom window, I could see that the house was there. Like Google Earth shows me, like I did as much as I could do to make sure that this was a real person that was sincere and not the end of my life, I guess. Anyway, so then I wanted to make sure that she wasn't getting in trouble. So that's why I knew I had to talk to you right away. And so I did really respond right away, but apparently you guys have, for probably no purposes. Secure email systems have problems with secure email systems, I guess.
Yeah, that was a hurdle we had to get over.
So this one's, I mean, Proton Mail is, I think, a pretty common secure email system, but I guess you guys don't like it, but it's out of Switzerland. So I think when you're in, as far as I understand, if you're both Proton emails, you log in and it's like completely secure. If you have access points like from here to there, it would be different. But I mean, otherwise, I think you can track locations and everything else from emails, neat stuff like that. So
there's a lot of data associated, metadata associated with emails, obviously. And,
the Proton Mail is used by a lot of journalists and people in foreign countries, and so it's not like, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's all kinds of bad guys that use this stuff, but there's all kinds of good people that use this stuff too. So.
Right.
Like Telegram too, same thing.
Yeah, and on that end, I appreciate you being patient with us, and we did have an IT hurdle that we had to overcome there.
And I appreciate the patience with me on that too.
So that conversation begins and continues, and the reason that you continued that was for fear of Katya being.
My first priority was making sure that she didn't get in trouble. I didn't want all of a sudden, you guys to call the State Department to get involved, and all of a sudden Georgian officials would become like storming an apartment complex to make sure I'm not dead somewhere.
Right. Okay.
I thought that was a legit concern.
Yeah.
So.
And just one thing that you referenced there, you had verified her existence to make sure that you weren't being scammed, and some of the things that you requested included her passport, right?
No, actually, she gave it to me on her own free will.
Oh, she gave it to you on, okay. So, but that was something that provided you some confidence that this was in fact a real
yeah.
person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked to you. So.
And we were very, I gotta say that we were very concerned that you had been scammed. And, you know, I guess we're aware of situations similar to this.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Yeah. The only thing that we didn't have was, you know, the whole kayak portion involved and other things that we had looked at. So that was maybe a little different. But, you know, at the outset, we definitely were concerned that was maybe what had occurred, that you had been, you know, scammed and convinced into doing this in order to leave the country, and perhaps they would get whatever money you had on you and access to certain accounts and things of that nature and clean you out and then dispose of you, and no one would be any the wiser, right? Because you're still missing in the U.S. So during the course of that conversation and email between you and I, at any time did you feel that you were being coerced or lied to or fed information that was inaccurate?
I mean, early on, there was a lot of not sure what's going to happen. I guess hope for the best. I mean, my goal was to not. I didn't want to get in trouble. I don't want to. I mean, you know my record. Obviously, there's nothing there, but so I wasn't trying to. I was trying to be as honest with you could. The only thing I just didn't want to. I was just concerned about my location yet. I didn't want to give that up. I know. I figured as soon as you had hers, it wouldn't really be that hard to find us anyway. So, because you do have to flash your passport for a few things when you do things. Mm-hmm. Although technically, that what you have is your old one. That's her. I guess in Russia they have two. They have like a passport for inside the country, and then they have an international passport. So she has a new international one now. That's the old one from whatever. So I don't think the numbers are the same. But I mean, so I was my concern. And then,
I guess just to be clear on that, I was talking about my communication with you.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And if you had any.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. I mean, you're getting questioned by law enforcement for possible crimes or whatever. I mean, can I trust you? Can I not trust you? Is it unwise for me to trust you, per se? I mean, right? Do you? What's the? Does it make more sense? Is it better all around for everyone just to kind of come clean and go with it? Is it? I think for the most part in America, you're taught to not talk at all. That's what I was really going to do for the longest time, is just not say a word about anything, but that probably wouldn't end up very well. So it wasn't like I don't have any like necessarily deep dark secrets to hide. I wasn't doing anything bad. So I mean, I wasn't doing anything like crazy international illegal or anything. It was just going away. So I mean, so yeah, I guess I think early on it took a while for me to kind of warm up, and honestly, the last how many days now? I mean, when it says trust him, what does that mean? So, I don't know what that means yet. This isn't over yet, so.
No, it's not. This is step one. I mean, honestly, it is.
No, I mean, maybe I'm in big trouble now. I don't know. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Define big trouble.
I don't know. Define it.
Yeah, and the reason I ask that is, I think it's important to note in all of this that, again, you came back on your own. You chose to come back. You chose to keep communicating with us.
Yeah, I guess I would point out, as soon as you reached out to me, as soon as you asked it, I started talking to you.
Yep.
I mean,
And at any point during that communication, you could have stopped. Right? So I can tell you from my perspective that that always gave me hope, and that there was a chance you would do the right thing and come back. So that was interesting for me to understand and just to ask you about. Because again, at any point you could have said,
oh no, you had no idea either. I'm half a world away, and you don't know who I know. I have friends over there now. I mean, like really, and also talking to the pastors over here. I'm one or two people away from working in a small mountain village, and you guys may never see me again.
right,
I could be a migrant. Seriously, they do grapes and whatever else vineyard over there.
right.
Psh, I'm gone.
Yeah. Alexander Lukashenko, I think is his name.
The name sounds familiar, but I'm trying to think. Is that Russian? Or what's that?
Uh,
I guess why are you thinking of that name? What brought that up?
Well, actually, this is something I wanted to talk to you about before. And the reason why, during our communication, that it was important for you to keep quiet about your plans to return home. I strongly suspect that one of your coworkers, quite confident actually, a coworker of yours had been in contact with us.
Really?
And
There were two Alexes there.
Yeah.
Oh, guy, did you get a photo? Oh no, that's fine. I guess it's not a big deal. Yeah. Really?
Well, I'm glad you're here now, right? But that was an actual concern of mine, and that's why I was saying the things that I said to you about
He's from Ukraine.
being quiet.
There were two Alexes that I worked with.
Okay.
One was, so I'm 45. He might be pushing 48 to 52, somewhere in that range. But he's from Ukraine. He came down. The area where he lived was basically a war zone, so he was getting out of Dodge.
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic of actually a lot of interesting stuff. The other Alex came out of Moscow, and he just didn't want to get drafted. So he was a younger 20-some-year-old guy, but he ended up leaving a week or so before I left.
Okay.
Truthfully, I talked a little bit to that guy, and he was super nice. I think he spoke Ukrainian and Russian. Everyone in the shop spoke Russian. Just the one guy that I worked directly with spoke Lithuanian, English, and pretty much every Slavic.
Okay.
He was awesome. I never got the owners of the company I worked for. They were from Ukraine. None of them that I know of necessarily spoke bad about Russia. They just were upset about the war going on and not being able to be at their house. They wanted the war to be over so they could go back home. I guess I never got the feeling that guy was dangerous.
Right, and I guess
I never knew he had any friends. He had a junker car, and then sometime while I was there, he ended up buying like a $9,000 Mercedes over there. That's the only weird thing, I guess, that maybe I would have noticed. But he was super nice and friendly to me all the time. I never felt like he was trying to set me up for something or put me in a situation where I could get kidnapped or. I mean, if anything, the morning we have coffee together, everyone smokes over there. Holy cow! So I just learned to hold my breath a lot. But I mean, gosh, it's like every 10 minutes they take a smoke break. But it's a lot of times they're just talking and stuff. And seriously, I've never.
Yeah. So I just wanted to.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I quit a week early and said I was going back because my dad had some issues or something. And then everyone was super nice and friendly. I said I don't know my future goals, but I said hopefully I can come back maybe sometime and work with you guys again.
And I don't want you to think anything negative about these individuals or anything like that. But I wanted you to know that my concerns were legitimate because I have no way of verifying these people's intent, you know, and why they might be telling us what they were telling us.
It's certainly possible. I mean, I'm not going to tell you there aren't any dirty actors over there in Batumi. I think they call it like the Las Vegas of the East or something like that. There's come summertime, that place is like triple population. You got people from the Middle East that are coming in, people from Turkey, Tbilisi. I mean, just all kinds of rich people are coming in and doing things. I'm sure there's all kinds of shady stuff that's going on here. There's numerous casinos but I guess I just didn't really feel. I never, I guess, felt unsafe. Countless nights during the summer, I'd be walking the streets, and there's nice people walking around. I mean, like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, there's families out in parks. It's just it's a different feel. Way more kids are roaming the streets, and it's almost more of that community mentality where you're kind of watching out for other people's kids as they're doing things in the streets. Not at all like the States, really. You always have to be focused on your kid.
And anything you wanted to talk about? So Jeremiah's been doing a lot of the digital research, and he's been going through a lot of that stuff, and so he's way more familiar with some of those aspects of it than I am. You'd be surprised at the mountain of data you create through this whole thing. You know, between computer forensic examinations and things of that nature, and going through all these items and identifying what's useful and what's not, and then understanding all of it takes a tremendous amount of time. So I don't know, is there some?
Yeah, there's a few things that I'm just kind of curious on or had some questions on, and hopefully you can maybe kind of make sense of it. Mm-hmm. So Katya sent you a receipt for back in 2021.
No.
Well, the receipt was dated 2021.
Oh, that Russian document?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was giving me proof of a debt that she had.
Okay.
She was verifying that she had because I was questioning how legit some of the stuff was that she was telling me, and so she was like, no, see, this is what it is. So it was supposed to be some form of receipt or statement documenting that. So.
And was that part of like the proof of life, kind of like she's a real person, not a scammer?
It was just one of the items of this is like what I've been telling you about my life is true.
Okay.
So that was one of those things.
So she had a debt from that. I think it was to purchase, I don't know if it was a residence or an apartment or something for somebody. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think roughly the amount on there was about $23,000. So that was some debt that she had. Okay. So in regards to the debt that she had, did she still owe that when you met her?
Yes.
Okay. When did you meet her? Or how did you meet her, I should say?
We crossed paths online in December of 23.
Okay. So online, so yeah, it's kind of
we just
weird.
Talked once or twice, and then just talking. Said sometime I would try to. I promised her that I would, find her again after the holidays, and it ended up being like maybe late January or something like that. So.
Okay, so late January you kind of reconnected?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she at that time would have been telling me that she was from Ukraine. So. Because there's that thing going on over there between Russia and Ukraine and whatever, so a lot of people in the West don't really trust anyone from Russia, so our conversation, she said she was from Ukraine, so a lot of her conversation was, are you in the safe place? Like, what's it like over there? And I'm an inquisitive person like that, so I guess I wanted to learn more. You hear things on the news, but you always wonder how much is true.
Mm-hmm.
So I went for a deep dive, and I asked her all kinds of questions about what's going on over there. So
that makes sense. So you guys met online initially. Was that off of a specific website, or I guess
Stuff somewhere.
kind of like a dating website or something like that? Okay. So you guys meet. When does she send you the receipt information?
I'm honestly guessing. I'm going to say it's going to be probably February, March.
Okay.
Somewhere in that time frame. February is when we really kind of started to actually become friends, close friends.
Okay.
Spent a lot of time talking.
So in February and March, you kind of become good friends. When in there did you kind of start doing? You said you did a lot of research on disappearing, and when did that kind of start happening?
I think how the friendship kind of changed a little bit more somewhere in February, March, and then probably the actual real spending of time on research probably didn't really happen until maybe the end of April.
So end of April was when you started to really kind of start conducting your research, like how did I either disappear or...
Like, is it really possible? Because, I mean, obviously it's not 18 whatever anymore. There's cameras everywhere and everything's digital, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was just, is it even possible? So I was looking at past stories about people that have done it. What worked, what didn't work, how far you could go. I was optimistic because there was a guy, that German millionaire that disappeared for about 6 years. If you heard about that one.
Okay, what?
It was a German, did you hear about that?
I didn't know.
Recently, I think even this past summer, fall, there was a German millionaire that went for a ski trip, and he vanished somewhere on the mountaintop. And 6 years later, he was found living in Moscow. And I think that 6th year was this past year. I was like, oh, God, look at that. That guy did it. I mean, 6 years, that's not a bad run.
So what was your optimal time to disappear that you were hoping for?
I mean, honestly, it's 7 years before missing persons turns to dead, so, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I researched that kind of stuff. And so I knew 7 years would be ideal, and then I was hoping that after at some point that it takes 10 years to become a citizen of... There's a trick of how do you go from one citizen to another citizen when this citizen is already dead. I wasn't sure I was going to do that yet. I was going to hope to figure that out on the way. But yeah, the magic numbers that I knew were 7 years, and then 10 years of living in Georgia, you can just apply to be a citizen.
So you're hoping at least hit that 7-year mark and be declared deceased here?
And then hopefully I'm totally done over here.
Mm-hmm.
And then things are better over there. So I still had to be there for 10 years. However, you do have to flash a passport. So the beautiful thing in Georgia is it's visa-free for a lot of countries. And it's 364-day visa-free. So it's like you can literally live in Georgia for 364 days. Drive over to Turkey, get your passport scanned, then drive back into Georgia and stay for another 364 days. And you can do that indefinitely per current law. So there's so many people right now that are young, looking to try the world. And also there's an entrepreneurship 1% tax in Georgia. So if you want to be like a computer guy, you can have an apartment, have a business, 1% tax on your business. Cost of living is super cheap. You make $30,000 a year, you live like a prince over there. It's a no-brainer. The temperature is awesome. It's perfect.
So you said you took about, I can't remember, like about $5,000 with you?
About $5,500, I think, is what I took.
And then you had a bunch of like gift cards and some other stuff too.
Oh, just the two Western Unions.
Western Union. What about the Commerce ones? Commerce Visa gift cards.
Those were corporate gift cards, I guess. I bought for gifts.
Okay. So that is that about
that
all
then used to fund the Western one.
Right, you use those to fund Western Union. Okay, that makes sense. Did you have any other cards or anything like that you can remember?
Nothing.
Okay. So, did you ever send any money ahead or plan ahead for going over there, or?
There was no money that I sent ahead for me to use or for my benefit, I guess.
Okay.
To see. I had sent some money over for helping somebody, but we'll see, kind of put that puzzle together. So
I was kind of curious on that. If you can kind of explain your side of what happened or who you were helping, or want to get your take on it.
the short story version is I just was, we were good enough. I really wanted to help her get out of debt. I told you in the email numerous times there's a number of things that I'd be happy to tell you, but just not anywhere else. They're not illegal, they're not bad, they're just not something I want on the public record. So that would maybe shed a little bit more light on the situation, but truthfully it was a situation where I wanted to help her out. So I helped her out and got her out of her situation. So, and I was already in a situation, and if you know my situation, $20,000 doesn't do anything for me. So it does something, but not much. So.
So you were trying to get her out of debt with, and that was from your Robinhood account? Okay. Was that able to get her completely out of debt then?
Yep, so right now she's fine. So I am not fine.
So as far as, I think that was about all the financial questions I had, unless you remembered something else. And the Air Canada card never went through?
Yeah, it went through.
It didn't go through, okay.
I tried. I
Still got it?
No, I never. No, that printout that you have, the one that so yeah, it says this is not your gift card.
Yeah.
And there's no, it never. So I think what I tried to use was the Commerce gift card for that purchase.
And I think I saw that it was denied.
And that's where it was denied because the Commerce one, because as I said before earlier, U.S. The gift card purchase was in Canada. The Commerce gift card is only good in America, so it wouldn't make that purchase. And it took me forever to figure out why I kept being denied. And then I finally figured it out, and then I had to work around it.
So there's an Air Canada, $920 in Air Canada.
No, there isn't.
Oh, there
It
isn't.
never went through.
No.
The purchase,
Yeah, it got denied.
the purchase was always denied.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. You can't use a U.S. based gift card.
I'm
to
sorry.
make
I
that
thought it was
national
purchased, but
purchase.
it could be used.
No, I tried countless times
Got
to
it.
do it, and I couldn't find a workaround.
Got it. Still a little financial, but we've kind of handled the details relating to the digital stuff, I think.
Yeah.
So, even through the media reports and stuff like that, let's clear the air on this insurance situation. When was the purchase? And
As I told you, the insurance part was before I believe I filed that first application for, it was like a time period. I think I filed it, started it back in late November.
okay. And what were your expectations now after doing this in regards to that?
What was happening last fall is I was working a crazy amount of hours, and I was falling asleep at all kinds of places. I was falling asleep while I was driving. I was falling asleep at home, on the kitchen table, anywhere. And I was legitimately concerned that the late hours of the shop, I just wasn't going to be a heart attack, or who knows what it was going to be. And so I was trying to figure out a way where I could, just something that would, if something bad were to happen to me like that, then it would be okay. So I was hoping to kind of surprise. Well, I didn't want to ever have to use it, but I just knew that. So.
Did you know that? Did Emily know that it existed?
She never told her. So he used some money from. I don't know. I think I just had some cash there that how much I used, and I was gonna just keep it going every year. So was it $620 or something like that was a premium, maybe something like that.
An annual premium.
Yeah.
So
Because she technically has more insurance than I do right now. And then that was I actually had 2 life insurance policies. If you go back years and years, I had 2 policies in force. I think when he moved in 2015, I never got a statement or got lost in the mail, and the one policy that I had long ago kind of fizzed out. So it was always my intention to get a second policy at some point. I just, and then because I knew what was going on in the business too, I just didn't want, there's just a lot going on.
Okay.
But it truly was before I met Katya, or even, and it was before I even thought about doing that kind of stuff.
Did it give you some peace knowing that it was there? And
At that point, yeah. Because I was sleeping, because I was feeling, because the fall was just awful. It was physically just, like, fall asleep on the couch, fall asleep on the floor. It didn't matter where I'd fall asleep anywhere at the house. So. Just so exhausted. I'd be getting 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep a night. Sometimes 5.
was that based on work primarily, or was
It was work, and then it's a combination of me working a late hour shift, and then, but Leo doesn't have a late hour shift. Leo's 4:30, so I can work till whenever, but Leo's up at 4:30. So, and working at midnight isn't the hardest thing in the world, but then it's 4:30.
So
it's just bad.
I guess kind of one of the things I was looking at there is, you knew that life insurance policy was there. Did it give you some peace knowing that your family would benefit from that after?
Another life insurance policy too. I don't know why that one was such a focus. I have another life
Timing,
insurance policy that's 300. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure the timing was questionable.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize. I said Da's yes for Russian.
Ah.
So I'm very. A lot of times I slip in the da because I'm just.
Shit. It might take a while for that to dissipate.
Maybe, especially if I keep talking to her. You tell her.
Yeah.
I don't keep saying it. So yes. Yeah. I was hoping for our mortgage is like 120, 130. But instead, probably to clean everything. My other life insurance policy would clean it all up. Really. So
what do you believe your current debt is as a total?
Before today, I think I'm somewhere in the 75,000 for maybe credit card debt and stuff at the house personal level, and I have maybe 130 on the business side, 120, 130. So
300-ish combined?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Another area that I just haven't necessarily understood, but I think in some ways you answered it earlier, was the transition from one passport to the other. And I guess I'd like to know the reasoning behind that, why you didn't just go searching for your original passport and pocket it, hide it, and say, I can't find it, I have to apply for a new one. Help me understand the thought process behind that portion of this.
There's that 10-year mark in Georgia. I don't know, I said that earlier, so I'm just saying it again. Probably people would say I shouldn't talk at this point. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can understand my curiosity in regards to this, right? But I also understand your concerns. I mean, safe to say, your passport is probably one of the most valuable things you have right now, right? Probably the most valuable thing you have.
The only reason I care about it is to see her again, though. But, yeah. Because I think her chances of getting over here are slim to none.
Yeah.
It's at least 6 months.
So maybe we could try it from a different perspective. Would it have worked to use your original passport, or is there a reason why you didn't think that was feasible?
The 10-year mark.
Okay.
My other one was good for 5 or 6.
Okay, so you needed to have a fresh one, more or less. Safe to say? I'm just trying to understand.
I
You know?
I know, but I think I'm burning my bridge here. I mean, I think I guess
You're not burning this bridge.
I understand. I guess I hope you realize now that I'm more than happy to tell you all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I really don't want to keep secrets. I would really love to just see a million things and come 100% clean. But if I don't know. I guess from the other standpoint, I'm sure there's a whole lot of other wise people out there that would say I shouldn't say anything.
Right.
So that's my struggle, because I know you have a job to do, and so I mean, where do I go from there? So I'd love to tell you something, but I know you have a job to do. So what?
Sure. I appreciate that.
Tell me how to answer that.
I understand. And that's very fair. What else? I feel like we've really, number one, I really appreciate your openness, honestly, through all this.
I really don't have anything to hide. I guess
Right.
I'm trying to point that out. I'm hoping to just be able to try to pick up everything that I can from whatever I did and make as many things right as possible, and somehow still it all works out in the end.
Right.
I don't know if that's possible. I don't know.
I am going to probably, I don't know, maybe this isn't necessarily an interview, right? This is Matt Talk, and you've seen a lot of Matt Talk, and you're probably ready for the kind of content I'm going to give you, even based on our email conversations. I recognize that I think that probably the biggest driving force in your returning is your moral obligation to correct what you can, what is possible for you to correct. I think that's probably the biggest thing that brought you back here. That's accurate?
With family and
What's that?
with family and with law.
Yeah. We, and I shared this with you in our email conversation, we have definitely had quite the window into your family and your community. And I do think, based on everything that I have seen, that before you lies an opportunity. And I think the best course of action for you forward is to make the most of the opportunity that's been given to you, that you've chosen to engage in. So I hope that if you don't see it that way now, let's be honest. I mean, a grieving process actually takes a really long time, right? And this process, I think, for you and re-establishing or determining what your next steps are isn't something that's going to happen in 5 minutes. this has been one incredible couple of days for you, even just from a travel standpoint, to get back here. So I think it's important to understand that and to recognize that you do have an opportunity to, do more than handle your obligations. You have an opportunity to do more than repay your debt. You have an opportunity to do more than work at your relationship with your children. I still believe that you have an opportunity to be one incredible example of what can occur when somebody owns up to what's happened and somebody takes accountability. So I hope you take that to heart. I know that I've shared that same sentiment in email. It's true. There's nothing in our email conversation that I said that wasn't true. There are things that I didn't tell you, much like things that you did tell me. Right?
I understand.
I want to check in real quick with somebody outside and see if there's anything else that we need to cover. While I do that, take a minute and think about anything else that you want to share. And
So I feel like I shared quite a bit.
so do I.
I honestly can't think of anything else.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have a couple minutes here to think about it, because we're just going to kind of review things and make sure that.
Is there a bathroom up there?
Yeah, I can take you to the bathroom. Ooh, I got stiff sitting there that one.
Yep.
Find it?
Was it DL8661?
Okay.
What was the first one? Because that one's going to be just FL, or F, sorry, AF. 052. It's possible that,
So DL8661 would have been from Toronto to Paris?
yeah, it's possible the DL could also be FL, or, sorry, AF. What happens is, Air France, Delta, and a few other airlines are all part of the same conglomerate. So, yeah. So this might be the Delta, because technically it was an Air France flight, but I bought it off the Delta website. Not that it matters. So I think they gave me a Delta flight number.
Okay.
It was actually interesting on the way back. The Istanbul flight to Chicago, there must have been 15 airlines that had different flight numbers for it. It was like,
Sorry. So you left at 11:30 p.m.?
yes.
Okay.
So Terminal 3, 11:30 I left. Looks like Toronto. A 7-hour, 30-minute flight.
Okay.
2.5-hour layover. It was supposed to be like 3:35, but it ended up being later because of delays. So
Okay. And that would have been 3:35 p.m. again, correct?
correct. I was losing time the whole way there.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah, you lost like a day.
I got it back today. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch Seinfeld?
No.
Oh, no.
I wasn't regular watching.
It's George Costanza. It all evens out.
Yeah. Sort of tell your body that.
Yeah. It all costs you extra, maybe, in reality, huh?
But yeah, so
Couple points of clarification. Tackle box.
Yeah.
What did you put in the tackle box and why?
wallet and keys,
Okay.
just to be practical. I don't know. I didn't want to lose it. I mean, well, I don't know why get rid of all that stuff. The keys, it was more or less to help Emily, so she'd have to, I mean, as I said, it's like $125, $150 for a new Dodge Caravan key and then whatever else I have in there.
Uh-huh.
And then it wasn't, I mean, it wouldn't be uncommon for me to, if you sit in a kayak or you got a pocket here, you sit there and you do something and it falls in the boat. Well, I mean, the boat in here, and now it's gone, so then I really lose it. So it's just practical.
Okay. There's something else lake related.
And I don't know wallets.
Fishing pole?
Oh yeah, fishing pole. Number one, did you make any casts?
No.
Did you catch any? You didn't catch any fish? That had no purpose other than to.
Call the story.
Okay. And then the tackle box. Did you just?
Actually, truthfully, I would have if I had more time, but everything was just becoming later and later, and then it was kind of dark, so. I just ran out of time, and it, I mean, you can imagine I had a few more things in my mind than just fishing. So.
Right. I fish a lot, so I was just curious.
I don't fish enough. Those are my problems.
Yeah. Well, I used to fish a lot, now I work a lot. But tackle box in the water. So I'm super impressed that it floated.
I figured it would, and here's why: because those 3 bins that are inside,
Yeah.
are all going to be mostly airtight.
Huh.
So I figured for sure that'd be enough to keep it above the water. I wasn't worried about it.
So you were hopeful that it would float for sure.
I wanted it to float.
You wanted it to float.
Because it identified me too. I mean, there's that.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I don't know. I knew it would float, so I wasn't worried.
We're a little disappointed as well in regards to the fact that we never found your net.
Yeah, I was actually. That was. So when I talked about being curious for what you found, it's like, really, you never found the net? Like, I figured, like, God, you found the fishing pole, but you didn't find the net.
Yeah.
I don't know why you didn't find it. It wasn't a big one. It was a compact one. It was one of those that was like yay big, yay long.
Uh-huh.
I think it was a short one I had that night. I don't think I had the long one that night. I think it was a short one. And just this bigish, maybe, and then a handle.
Okay. And where did you discard that when you were out?
I think what I ended up doing is I had a lot of that stuff on the kayak, and then when I transferred over, I just went, and then wherever I wanted to go. So,
Okay.
I don't know.
First thing disposed of was the phone?
Yeah, I suppose probably.
Okay. The raft was inflated, right?
Yeah, I didn't like your version of that story.
What's that?
I didn't like your version of the email of that story.
Yeah, I remember that. So my version.
It's like you tipped the kayak and then inflated the raft. I'm like, no, I don't like that idea. I inflated the raft and then I tipped the kayak.
So based on our data points, it appeared to me that you drifted. You went straight north for a period of time. On the data points.
From that bridge, it was. I totally was in the dark, so I don't really. I think I was going. I imagine I was going northeast.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe a little.
From that bridge point, I was trying to go across the water
to get to the deepest spot, right? So then that happens, but then there's a period of time where your track, your little dots, rather than going in that direction, suddenly go straight north. And so my presumption, inaccurately, was that you tipped the kayak and inflated the raft. But in actuality, you were probably paused, floating with the wind, while you were inflating the raft.
Possibly, and I think at some point there I was concerned that I was maybe drifting out of the area that I wanted to be in. So I know at one point I tried to kind of get back, so I guess I don't really know what the lines would look like, but I know I did. I know at some point, there wasn't a calm night necessarily that night. There was some wave action, so I think I tried to get myself back to the location I thought I had to be in.
Okay.
I kind of looked, I'm like, okay, I guess this is about here, so.
Okay. Anything else on that?
So out of all of those things that you put in the kayak, and you took the kayak and your ID and other things like that, obviously it kind of goes along with the idea of disappearing and making us think that you're down in the lake. And you know that we would find those things eventually, and that we would have reason to believe that, yep, he did drown in the lake because we found his cars here, tackle boxes here, it's got your identifiers and all of that. Is that kind of what you're going for? Just kind of put all those things, just be like, yep, here's the whole package deal. Like,
I didn't want to like obviously like gift wrap it too much because then you're going to question it too. So I mean, you had to just make it look real.
So you tried to make it look believable for us when we saw it that, yep, he's definitely down here because it's not like too perfect, but it all makes sense to us, right?
Yeah. I mean, now I'm sure it's very clear, but I mean, by the time maybe it was, no.
I don't know. It's all clear. I mean, I understand.
As far as the story and the timeline, I guess that would be why I did it, but.
Yeah. Well, that part I don't know if I'll ever truly understand. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. So yeah, and then also you are just make sure that you did just become a volunteer firefighter as well, right? Not too long ago.
A year before.
A year before.
So we moved to Lebanon in 2015.
Okay.
It was always something I wanted to do, but I said our kids were too young, so I didn't do it. And then I finally was like, yeah, why not? Let's get over there and do it. And I figured what I was 43 at the time or something. I figured I still had 10 years to be useful.
So with that, did you do any water rescue training or?
A little bit.
A little bit. Based on that, did you have an idea of what we would be doing?
No.
Not
anymore then. The only thing, there's not much water in Lebanon. There's a couple ponds, so we have. There's a river, the Rock River's down there. I was only there for a year and a half or something, maybe two. I think they have an inflatable raft with a small outboard they throw on it. The only training that I actually was a part of was the minion costumes, the big giant yellow guys where you float on the ice. Mm-hmm. It sucks. And that day that we were out there, the ice was like, I don't know, this thick. So you go pick, and you go pick, and it's just like we're all just like physically dead after 2 or 3 rounds of that. But no, that was the only no.
Okay.
Answer your question.
So, and this one's going to be a little bit more loaded, I guess, maybe. But what was your expectation of what the search for you would look like? And
very similar to everything that happened. It just I didn't know Bruce's legacy existed. I mean,
okay,
that's what you're. I knew you'd come out. I assume you have a boat. It's a big lake. I have some other devices, but I just didn't think you'd spend that much time out there.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to make sure.
From a practical standpoint, if someone like Bruce's legacy doesn't exist, why would you spend that much? You're just wasting time out there. Yeah, not that maybe you wouldn't check every now and then, but it's very legitimate. I could be down at the bottom and you've never seen me again. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went through all that science, and in addition, I'll say that we've learned quite a lot through this case.
So I guess one of the main reasons I'm happy to tell you a lot of this stuff is because obviously it's not cool. I don't want you to have to do it again, or if it can help stop someone else from doing it, I guess that's part of the reason why I want to tell you a lot of this stuff. Right? I guess I hope it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, on that,
one other thing, quick. So you left the laptop here for Emily to use for, you said, financial stuff, and you kind of set it up for her.
Well, part of the whole cell part is everything has to look as normal as possible, and if the computer was missing, that's kind of a big tell.
Right. Makes sense.
Kind of a huge tell because I was always on the laptop.
We call those clues.
So you didn't want to leave any clues behind that would have pointed us.
I think I did a pretty decent job of not leaving clues for the most part, but I don't know. I didn't. Yeah, I wanted to make everything as easy, and I truthfully wanted to not make her have to go through more pain than she was already going to have to go through. So I was really trying to make it as easy as possible for her. But I printed a bunch of account stuff for her. I did a bunch of. The first news story I was kind of mad at because I changed email addresses and stuff like that. I only did it on the one that was only one Robinhood, and it was only because Robinhood wouldn't answer my questions, and And it wasn't like I could have access to like thousands or hundreds of dollars. It didn't really benefit me in another way other than to kind of conceal me a little bit more or something. So I was irritated, but it is what it is.
So your computer had a passcode on it still, like when you left, right? Mm-hmm. Was that part of the selling the whole thing? Like she didn't have the passcode?
0917. No, she could log in, I think.
Okay. You think she had
the
the
passcode? Got in, no problem, right? She didn't tell me what the passcode was?
We have ways.
Okay, there's that too. Again, see, that I know there's things beyond my pay grade, so I'm like, I have to try to somehow outsmart something I don't know about. But my family knew that passcode to get on the computer.
Okay.
So I wasn't, I really didn't want to keep anything from her at all, the obvious thing. I was really trying to have everything laid out for her so she could try to pick up some pieces and go from there. So I don't do the fingerprint thing because I'm a cabinet maker. I don't have fingerprints often because I see them in the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Gonna give you a crack. You got any questions for us? We might be able to answer them. We might not.
How much longer do you got to find out? How much longer do you have to wait before you know what's kind of going on? Days, weeks?
Probably not that long. Do you have any other questions? I'll get back to that one.
Is there going to be anything more on the federal side of things? I guess as I kind of been honest with you throughout everything, it's like the only thing in the world that I hope to still sort of retain is the passport.
Yeah. I can tell you very truthfully that I have no authority to speak to anything on the federal side, and that is incredibly truthful.
I understand.
So I can't.
I guess it's not because I want to. I mean, it truthfully is for everything that I told you about. It's truthfully because I would obviously like to continue to seek IA. It's truthful because I don't know. Yes, there's the kid factor as far as seeing kids and being part of their lives, but I don't know what I. Boy, living in America is expensive. Mm-hmm. Once you try living in some other countries, I mean, it's as I kind of said, it's. You can live off your like $800 a month, no problem. Mm-hmm. You just can. So there's all kinds of money that's just available to put towards whatever you have to do. Like if you have a debt, and if there's, I mean, you're gonna not run away from Uncle Sam then. Like I'm like all my taxes are still being paid. Like in my brain, there's still like 100 million benefits. Like you can still extract whatever you want to extract out of me to pay my debts before it even comes to me. And just I don't know. Mm-hmm. I truthfully think I would pay off things a whole lot faster if that's a reality. And if I somehow make a mistake or do something outside of whatever set parameters that are made for me, I mean, drop the hammer on me, that's fine. I guess that's what I'm sincerely hoping for. But.
Going forward, just so you're aware, there's, and you probably are aware, you Google it, you can check the status of your passport, and you can...
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. You got to call to check the status of your passport. If there's any suspensions, revocations, or anything like that on it at any time, you can find that. In regards to its status, your passport status with the courts here, that's to be determined by our judge, and that's not something I can guarantee either way. While I would like to be able to give you some information on that, if I could, I would, but I can't. So, I understand exactly why you would ask that question. Is there any others?
That's truthfully the only thing
I
care about at this point.
So the next
going to be what they're going to be.
Yeah. So the next step here, it's been my observation through our conversations and emails that you have a desire to expedite things as much as possible. Is that still true?
Yes, but.
Yes, but.
Well, I mean, I guess
I'm not telling you.
I'm not.
Yeah,
this is a new situation for me.
Sure.
I'm not a regular person in the court system.
Right.
So I guess I don't know. I mean, I'm familiar with court stories and how many months and years and everything they play out, but I'm sure that's because people aren't working with law enforcement, they just do whatever. And so I guess I'm hoping that that helps the process. But I still don't know what that means.
Okay. So the next step for us in that light is actually we're going to be placing you under arrest for obstructing. We're going to be taking you back to the Green Lake County Correctional Facility. You're going to be booked there, and you'll be able, if someone...
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
Technically. One isn't obstructing like having something that's actually going on that then you're keeping you away. I mean, I guess I would argue as soon as you asked me something, I was came right away and I started talking to you.
Right. It doesn't relate to right now. It doesn't relate to the events of today.
Well, even today, I mean, as soon as you contacted me in November, I didn't hide it all. I came right out and started talking to you. So, wouldn't obstruction have been completely not saying anything or totally putting you in a different direction? Or?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from and your argument there. I guess our perception of events is related to the placing of things and the intent to mislead our missing person search, and that's the basis for the charge. So it's not related to whether or not you were verbally forthcoming. It has more to do with what you did rather than what you said. So that's what we're going to request. What the district attorney does is up to them, and if they see something that we don't, it could be different. But we've contemplated this honestly for quite some time, and as we went through this whole process, that was where things landed. So again, you'll be going back to the correctional facility. You'll have a $300 cash bond that is imposed by us. We'll provide notice to the judge. If the judge thinks that a specific conditions or anything related to your bond are necessary, he would issue those, and you'll be advised accordingly. Otherwise, we hope, we don't schedule court, but we anticipate that there will likely be a court date that will occur tomorrow.
And I'll just stay here tonight.
What's that?
I'll just stay here tonight then. That's fine.
So if that goes as we expect, you'll appear before the judge then, and those specific conditions and necessary steps to go forward will be established in court. And you'll have, obviously, the ability to have your input into those proceedings as well. So, do you have any questions about any of that?
As I said, I'm not really a frequent member of this community doing that kind of thing. So.
Well, I can give you a little bit of reassurance in the fact that when you get to the jail, you will be in a single cell. You won't be with anyone, at least for the first 24 hours. So that probably gives you a little bit of peace of mind. Our jail is incredibly clean and very well kept and very well run. So I hope you don't have any concerns in that.
I guess as far as the $300 cash bail, is that, if I sit and hang out here till the court thing, do we still pay the $300 to get out later? Or how does that work?
So cash bail is established because this is a misdemeanor offense, Class A misdemeanor offense. Cash bail is imposed by the officer, and the judge then has the ability to modify that. So if the judge wishes to change it in any way, shape, or form, he can. Now, I don't know. That is his decision.
I guess.
But then at that point, after your initial court appearance, what happens with that is determined by him. So it could be very different as well.
I guess I'm saying,
I don't want to give you.
No, I understand. But if there's money, I guess the cash bail does it, and then I'm around to the court case tomorrow. Does it? I guess what I'm being accused of is that going to potentially put me back in jail afterwards.
after your court appearance tomorrow?
So it's a misdemeanor charge, right? Or it's
Correct.
Obstruction of justice. Could whatever that result of court put me back in jail? Is the penalty for whenever?
The judge will determine, okay, so you're innocent until proven
I
guilty.
understand.
Yep. So bond is basically to ensure your return to court.
I understand.
So if
That's what I'm saying. So I guess what I'm saying is, so if I'm here tonight, and then I'm here for that, I would potentially get out and not pay $300. So
that's possible, if that's possible, if that's what the judge were to rule. Yes. That's right. That's
you said the purpose of the bail was to make sure I'm here for jail, right?
for court.
For court, sorry. You can pay it, go home, and come back.
Right.
And then is that like a returned thing, or that's just your $300 like fee?
All that again is determined by the court. So if the court, in later proceedings determines that the bail is revoked, then it's revoked. If they determine that it's to be returned, it's returned. So I can't
I
give
guess
you.
I don't understand that stuff. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I totally do all the time either.
Okay. I understand you can pay bail and go home,
Okay.
and then I understand that part. I guess the other part is if the purpose of the bail, the $300, is to make sure I'm here tomorrow. If I'm here tomorrow because I stay there, is that $300 okay? That's kind of expired, and now you're on to whatever the new thing's going to happen after the court case.
So if you're here and you don't post, any cash, then you appear in court, and the court determines what your bond will be going forward.
So potentially, I could maybe have to go back to jail for whatever the court thing.
It's possible.
Okay.
I mean,
Interesting.
again, it's not the purpose of bail is to ensure future court
I
appearances.
understand.
So it's not to punish or anything like that. And so I think there's probably some factors in this case that would weigh in your favor. There's probably some factors that may weigh against you, frankly, as well. So I don't know what the judge will decide on that. I think a lot of the things you've done thus far are very indicative of someone who will return for court. So that's my perception, but the judge is the one who's responsible for those decisions. So I would never.
No, I understand you can't speak for me. I get that.
Yeah, and I don't want to give you false hope or bad information. So, anything else? Do you have anything on your person? Pockets? Just your wallet? Okay. In your...
We can have the money in there.
In this country. You just keep that on, yeah. Just keep it. Yeah. So, anything in your bags that would be... I mean, it all made it through security at the airport. So is there anything you're concerned?
Whatever Emily brought me, there's maybe a razor in there or something.
Okay.
So that's like a duffel bag. I don't know about the other. Everything else went through security. Gosh, took your security like 4 times.
What? I'm sorry?
In Turkey?
Yeah.
Like, it was insane. It was like like in Canada, you go through security, you hop in the airplane, go to Paris, you stay in the secure zone, you go to Tbilisi, no problem. Batumi, security. Turkey, off the airplane, security. I think another security checkpoint in Turkey, and then the one boarding the plane again.
Oh, so three.
Yeah, I was like really? Like, I realized Turkey's kind of a hot zone over here.
Yeah.
There's things going on.
Well, based on what you're telling me, Georgia might be kind of a hot zone too. I mean, just the ability to come and go as you please and things like that.
I can be honest about Georgia. I'm kind of a little concerned about the Western involvement in Georgia and starting something going on in Georgia. It's going to look a lot like what Ukraine and Russia look like right now.
Sure.
Because from the people that I talk to, it sounds kind of... You had a democratically elected government that now the West says is not democratically elected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's causing... It's just interesting. You talk to the people and go, but we want this government. That's what we chose. But not, and then you get people at mass, people at the protests in Tbilisi and Batumi the last 12 nights that are wearing masks that you can't see who they are. But these are masks. These are like people of Georgia don't have money to spend on all this stuff. So who's funding this? What group or what country?
Yeah.
Crazy stuff's going on over there, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Do you have any phone numbers or anything like that you want to take with you into the correctional facility? Like,
I
please
guess just call her mom and say I'm staying the night here.
Okay, I can do that. I'd be happy to do that for you.
I guess my only one request, is there any way that I could have Wi-Fi for like 10 minutes or something? Or no?
Do we have public here?
Over here we do.
I mean, I guess otherwise when would be the next time I could just hop online to, I guess the only thing I was going to do is telegram Kaya to give her some idea what's going on.
Would you be opposed to me emailing her?
I can email her. No, I guess that would be okay if you want to do that. So maybe then just say tomorrow, hopefully I can say something.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. That's fine. I just told her to get in touch with her.
Sure.
Granted, what time is it right now?
5?
Yeah, almost 5.
So it's 3
3
a.m.
a.m.
over there.
So if I send her an email, she'll get it when she wakes. It's acceptable? Okay. So for this part, I do actually have to put you in cuffs and take you. We're going to go outside and then back inside to get into the booking portion of the jail. So it's just a short little jaunt. And then we'll bring your property back with you there, or how do we want to handle that? We'll have to check.
Or do you want
I'll check with the corrections.
Yeah.
I think before we haul it all back.
to? Yeah, we'll check with them. Yeah.
Just because it's not common for somebody to have this much property when we take them to custody. So, any questions? I appreciate everything you did. I do. And like I said, this is an opportunity. And I hope you move forward with that thought in mind as you go through all this. You never know what the next step will be, and I hope that you're able to take each step one at a time and be successful at all of them. So, all right. So just stand up for me. Just put your hands behind your back. And this will probably put with your property. This way. I think you just bend a little at the waist and knock them here. All right, let's head on out. And I'm going to hang on to you because if you fall, you can't.
Right now or no?
In August of 2025, Ryan Borgwardt pleaded not guilty to charges of obstruction of justice. Both the defense and the prosecution recommended a 45-day sentence, but the judge had other plans. The judge sentenced Borgwardt to 89 days in jail, which is the same amount of time that he was missing.
The defendant is facing a sentence on the crime of obstructing an officer. This is typically for someone who gives a false name or misleads an officer. It is not a serious crime, but it is a drain on police resources. In this case, the defendant led law enforcement to expend time and resources to search for him. That made more difficult the performance of their duties. Now, the defendant has said he didn't think law enforcement would search for him as long as they did. But the point is, the defendant's actions, faking his death, required the sheriff's department to expend resources to search for him, and that obstructed law enforcement. A factor the court can consider for sentencing is deterrence for the defendant and anyone else who is thinking about faking their death. If you persist in your deception, the longer you obstruct, the longer you are complicit. Instead of coming forward and admitting your mistake, the longer the penalty should be. Therefore, the court sentences the defendant to 89 days in the county jail.
He was also ordered to pay $30,000 in restitution for the search efforts as well. I want to thank you all for watching. We have a lot more coming, so make sure you're subscribed, and we will see you in the next one.